Teigen and Carrie Hannon.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hold on now. I was like, wait, I hit the wrong button. Anyway, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things trending in pop culture. So if that is a show for you, definitely stick around because we've got a action-packed show today. So we got before we get to the heavy stuff, we got to talk about this Avengers Doomsday 4 trailer, which I told y'all about regarding the Wakandans and Fantastic Four. So those stuff started coming. I told you all the stuff that was coming is coming, right? So and it's here. So we got the pictures, we got all that stuff. Plus, there's a word going around that someone from the MCU is about to head over to the DCU in a big role opposite Scarlett Johansson in the Batman Part 2. We'll talk about that. We got some good news regarding Sydney Sweeney in this movie, The Housemaid, because they just announced today we get a sequel and they're gonna start shooting it this year. So I got the details, all that good stuff. Plus, remember we were talking about Star Search. Well, apparently they announced the judges, and I'm here for it. So we're going to talk about that and break that down. Bow asked an interesting question, and I was like, this would be good for the show. He asked, like, because with we have the VMAs, right? But they ain't played a music video in like damn near 20 years. So he's asking, should award shows or channels that no longer show music videos and things of that nature be hosting award shows? So I have that whole situation. We'll break that down. Plus, we got to talk about this mess that came out yesterday regarding Donnie McClurkin and the alleged SA things regarding this boy that he was trying to groom and somebody he was going to help him pray the homosexual away. Turns out he was up in there doing all kinds of scandalous sexual things to this child. So we got the details. We're going to break it on down because he exclusively spoke to NBC News. And so we're going to break all of that down and a whole lot more. So definitely get your snack, snuggle up with your little blanket because this show gonna be messy today. Plus, we got speaking of messy, we got to talk about Christian Keys going in yet again on uh Tyler Perry, or as I like to call him Pastor Perry, or Tyler Sophia Perry. You know, if you know Miss Sophia, you know that whole joke. But anyway, so yeah, we got to talk about that and some things he talking about with all the Queen's men and the drama surrounding that show. Plus, we got to talk about Michael Flopperport trying to go in on Zohran Mamdani and saying that he's going to run for mayor in 2029. So maybe this is his way of trying to promote himself on the traitors. But we'll talk about that Zionist moron. And then plus we got to, speaking of Zionists and morons, we got to talk about Drake and Adin Ross and this whole controversy surrounding them, where they was doing illegal gambling and how he was using that money to buy streams for his music and a whole bunch of other mess. So all that stuff he was pointing the finger at regarding Kendrick Lamar, he was basically, it looked like it was some self-reflection or some self-deprecating that was going on there. So what's about that? Plus, Cardi B, I'm on her side for one thing, but not on the side of another. You could pretty much guess what side I'm going to talk about. But she shut it down a rumor that people are going around saying her father is an S offender. And then she decided to drag Tasha K because Tasha was out here talking about all this controversy surrounding Stefon Diggs and all this other mess. And Cardi decided to get on Spaces and do a whole. We got all the clips and stuff, so we'll get into that. Plus, we got to talk about this heated rivalry shade that's going on between François Arnaud and Miley Cyrus because apparently she wants to record a song for the soundtrack or the theme song or whatever. And he said something. I'm like, you know what? You kind of valid with that. So we'll get into that. Plus, we got to talk about this lawsuit surrounding Tyra Sanchez talking about she going to sue RuPaul, Michelle Visage, and World of Wonder. We got to break that mess. There's a lot of messy court cases. We got to, dissect and all that other mess. So before we get to these messy upcoming topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Wait, hold on, because I forgot I got to put this thing on. The comments. Happy Tuesday. The first official Gloria Estefan podcast is debut on this Friday. The goal is to say no shade, but there wouldn't be a Shakira, Bad Bunny, or these Latin acts. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Gloria Estefan, we wouldn't have those artists. Quiet as it's kept. If it wasn't for Gloria Estefan, you wouldn't have a for Lopez either, because in a way she did mentor um Shakira and all of them into like the whole big, American Latin artists who started crossing over into the Latin into like the American music market and all that other stuff. So that is true. No, I did not see that. And then you said the English speaking world, and but yeah, I like the fact that now we have a lot of artists who are of Latin descent and feel like I do not need to convert to English speaking in order for my music to transcend genres and boundaries and markets and all that other stuff. So that's why I love the artists like the Bad Bunnies and the um Carol G's and so many others who never had to do that. It's funny. I mean, it's unfortunate that in a way with the Latin explosion when you had Mark Anthony, you had Ricky Martin, and you had Jennifer Lopez, and you had Shakira and Enrique Iglesias and so many of these others, and even Paulina Rubio at one point, where she tried to cross over into the American music market. And that besides that Don't Get Say Goodbye song that she had, the rest of that album was trash. So she went back to doing the Latin music. So when you had a lot of those artists who was trying to be all a part of jumping on that whole bandwagon, I love that. Yeah, they had to open the door and pave the way, but then we had so many artists from Daddy Yankee on down who was like, you know what, I don't have to compromise my ethnicity in order to cross over into the Anglo market because they come over here, they sing their music in Spanish and everything, and we still live for it. Just like when Bad Bunny makes history next month for the Super Bowl, he's gonna be the first artist on that damn stage singing his music entirely in Spanish, and y'all gonna eat it up. Well, of course, the maggots and the racists and all them other morons gonna sit up there being, pissed off. Of course, I know that song. Like, do you know those? Of course, that was my shit back in the day. But anyway, anyway, let's get into the show. Let me hit my banner, and then we'll get to the comments after the fact. Okay, so excuse me. Yeah, child, hate this weather. I can't wait for it to be over. I'm feeling the cold and stuff coming along, and it wasn't even just me. There was a couple of people that I was talking about at my job that was feeling the same thing. It's like you dealing with nasty people on the subways that don't cover their goddamn mouth, and I be giving them that icy ass look like motherfucker. If you don't put your hand over your mouth, and then you get to work and you're interacting with people all day, and they be all up in your face. I'm like, well, damn space, hello. But I understand it's like when it's loud or certain things, you need people to kind of be a little closer than you would want them to be. And then that's how you end up getting sick. So but I understand the whole thing about people that will wear a mask. And trust and believe there are people in my job that do that. But it's hard to breathe in a mask, and especially with the type of air that's up in there. Like, especially if I'm working like the Rangers games and all this stuff, the air in there is just very much harsh in a way. It's like it's chilly and it's hard to breathe sometimes. But anyway, okay, so y'all, let's get directly into the show and then we'll get back to the comments. Let's talk about this whole fourth teaser. So, of course, I truly believe, as I said at this point, the MCU is intentionally leaking, or they said leaking these Avengers Doomsday teasers because they want to build momentum. We are literally a year away from this movie coming out, and they're trying their damnness to just build up momentum and get people talking, and it's working. They've showed the first one. I was like, with Chris Evans, I was like, it's all right. It was like him riding a bike and coming up to the house and holding a baby, and then they were just announcing he's coming. Then we got the one with Thor where he's praying to Odin and also looking out for Love, his the adopted daughter from that he has. And the theme, as we see so far, is about children. Then today they officially dropped the teaser for X-Men, which I told y'all literally blow for blow what was going to be in it. The fact of the matter, you hear this voiceover of Magneto. Then you see him and Professor X playing chess. You get to see like the school is all obliterated, probably from the Sentinels. They're playing chess, and then you see literally um Scott in the blue and yellow suit from the cartoon and the comics rips off his visor. That's what I call it, the shades, whatever the hell you want to call it, and the eyes just go ham like he's pissed, which is like the Scott Summers we've always wanted to see on our screens. But I guess because he didn't bring his knee pads in the meetings with that homosexual pervert director, he wasn't going to give him a lot of he wasn't going to let him shine on screen like we comic book fans would want it to see. So I guess now with this whole thing, yeah, we're getting the greatest hits. Yeah, they're going to, hammer us with the nostalgia, and they're going to give the fans what they wanted for the longest on a lot of these characters. Hopefully, if we do get Storm up in there, y'all do her justice. if you're gonna bring Halle Berry back. But for the most part, the teaser definitely. I mean, from what I saw, I mean, and funny enough, they released the official teaser today, right? But over the weekend, I actually saw it before they leaked it over here. But it was one in French that I had saw on. I think it was Comic Book Movie or World of Real, one of those sites. They had the official teaser. It was in, as I said, it was in French. It was actually a pretty good copy, and it didn't have like all the Dolby surround sound or whatever like we get from the YouTube clip now, the official Marvel Studios trailer. But I was like, it's a good enough copy that I could see it for what it is. And I actually thought it looked good. And it's got me more cautiously optimistic that this is going to be a good film. I'm still a little, hesitant because of the whole I don't understand the whole Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom angle and the fact that we didn't build up to Doctor Doom and you didn't really give us much of Doctor Doom in Fantastic Four, which they're supposed to be in the new Avengers Doomsday movie. And we all know that Doctor Doom is very much an integral part of Fantastic Four. So he should have been in that movie way more than just being a little cameo during a mid-credit scene. So I'm still a little skeptical regarding that whole thing and all of that. So with that being said, that teaser came out, so of course they had to bring on the new one, which of course is the one that I had told y'all was going to be the next one, which was about Wakandans and Tenoch Huerta at Mejia as Namor, and then of course you also get some of the Fantastic Four in the teaser. So according to Comic Book Movie, they said in the teaser, we find Shuri and M'Baku walking through a desert like setting with the Dora Milaje right behind them. There are flashes of a new look, Namor and Namora, before King M'Baku introduces himself to a familiar face. The Fantastic Four is Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. The final shot shows Shuri. Say that 10 times fast. The final shot shows Shuri boarding the Wakandan ship as she performs the iconic Wakanda Forever cross arms pose. Saying, quote, I've lost everyone that matters to me, Shuri can be heard saying. A king has his duties to prepare our people for the afterlife. I have mine. The sneak peek ends with the Wakandans and the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers Doomsday and another countdown. Now, the original Black Panther, as y'all know, was introduced in the pages of Fantastic Four's series, let's just say issue 52. So the worlds of the Wakandans and Marvel's first family colliding on screen has been literally decades in the making. Namor, of course, also has a storied history with the team. Now, in this teaser, a little underwhelming after three much bigger efforts. They said, is this teaser underwhelming after three much bigger efforts? Arguably, no. We've been spoiled up until now, and while it doesn't necessarily feature any major reveals, this is still a very cool glimpse at what's to come in Avengers Doomsday this December. Funny enough, they said, is this teaser a little underwhelming? Compared to all the other ones, I'm like, wait, the first teaser, hold on, speaking of which, I actually have, um, I was like, wait, how do I do this? I forgot how to work my own damn show. Oh my gosh, hold on. Um, why am I forgetting how to work my own channel? I was like, where's the button? Where's the button? Where is it? First of all, okay, I got the stills and everything of, oh my God, why am I drawing a freaking blank? Oh, I do have a lot of stuff in here that's open though. Uh, uh, uh. Okay, this is embarrassing. No, 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 no. I was like, why am I trying to leave the studio? It's like I immediately forgot how to work my own dang show. This is crazy at this point. I don't know why I don't see oh wait, is this one. I don't know. I would just be bugging sometimes where I literally be forgetting how to work my own show. Okay, so I have the pictures. There's one where you see M'Baku and it says, well, it's in another language. It says do Wakanda. And then you see Shuri, the hair's looking right and tight. And then you see Ben Grimm. It says entree bro. Is that French? It's probably another French post. Yeah, it is. I think it is. And then of course you see Namor with them ears. Looking good. So yeah, those are the pictures so far that we have from that I saw over on the Twitter. But funny enough, they were saying this. Now that I actually remember how to work buttons over here, because sometimes I'm like, what the hell? How I forget? Sometimes that happens. When I was like, I haven't been on a day and I'll be forgetting how to use buttons. But anyway, now that we back, now that I'm relaxed and refreshed my brain, they were saying, is the teaser a little underwhelming? I don't think so. I was like, yeah, I guess they want to slowly build So you give us kind of like this teaser with Captain America. Well, Steve Rogers. He's not Captain America anymore. Steve Rogers. Then you give us another teaser with Thor. Then you kind of give us like those, oh yeah, I'm a little hyped over this teaser regarding, the X-Men, which I was definitely hyped before they revealed the official trailer. I was hyped like when I saw the trailer a couple of days ago. There was when it was leaked on the internet in French. And then seeing these pictures, we'll get the teaser in a couple of days, more than likely next week, like they've been doing all the other ones. And I'll be overly excited for that too. I just got to see this in motion so that way I could feel like, is it underwhelming or not? You give me pictures and describing it. I can't really get hyped off of that. I need to really see everything in motion so that way I can get it. And I know like a lot of people be hyped because they know like if you are a hardcore comic book fan, you're gonna see like the Fantastic Four colliding with the Wakandans. I just wonder at what point are we gonna get a teaser where we could actually see Doctor Doom? Or is that gonna be saved for the official trailer that's rumored to be coming out around the Super Bowl or during the Super Bowl, where we'll get an official 2.5 minute, maybe 3 minute full on trailer where we get to see everything. And I feel like it would be smart for them at that point to officially drop it on during the Super Bowl to get people to watch. Don't do those 30-second whatever it's like they've been doing as of late and they don't want to put in the money. Marvel Disney already trying to go all out with this franchise and they've got a lot banking on this. So go all out. Release it on that day. Release it the day of the Super Bowl so that we can see it. Is the Super Bowl on ABC? I was like, yeah, do a whole 2.5 minute, 3 minutes of commercial time. Release a full-on trailer, give us Doctor Doom in all his glory, and then those who miss it, then you can throw it up on YouTube, and then we'll talk about it. So I hope that's where they go with this. So anyway, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story based on what you've heard so far? And I mean, based on the teaser and the photos or whatever. As I said, I'm still cautiously optimistic. I need a little bit more. I need to learn a little bit. I don't want you to give me the whole plot synopsis and spoilers and everything, but I don't know. I'm not fully at ease yet. I'm thinking like what's really holding me back, as I said before, is this notion about Robert Downey Jr. being cast as the big bad. We all know him as Tony Stark. We've all grown to love him as that character for over a decade. And I understand he died at the end of Endgame. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the damn movie, it's been out for too long. You miss a moment, you miss a lot. So to see how they're going to make him work within that world, it'll be interesting. But like I said, I'm still a little on the fence about it, and I need a little more convincing. Just me. So whatever your thoughts are, I definitely want to hear from you. So let me know your overall thoughts in the comments down below. What are you talking about overworking? Didn't Zohran promise free buses? Zohran can't control the MTA. This was during Eric Adams. Anyway, that whole $3 thing, that was not even his decision. And literally yesterday I just had to put $36 on my what was it? On my Omni card, because that's what we had to move on to now. We retired the Metro card. Now we're Omni cards. Wait, I was like, how much is it was six, right? It's supposed to be so literally now we're spending to and from $6 a day. That's 6 rides. That's basically like a weekly almost. Minus if you're not working 7 days a week. So if you're doing like 6 days a week or whatever, that's literally how much the Omni card is going to get you through the week. So I don't know, it's a little annoying, but I hate the fact that people think that I don't want to say how in this society we still believe that you spend or the day one a politician gets in office, things automatically just magically change. And they're the ones that go in and make all these changes. No, it's a work in progress. Like what Zoran's been spending a lot of time doing now is debunking a lot of the executive orders that Eric McGilla gorilla looking ass Adams put in place before he decided to run off and leave America. Because I heard he's not even in America right now. So and he could stay wherever the fuck he's at because we don't want him back here. And if anything, you need to take Michael Rapaport ass with him because we don't want him in New York either. But whatever. You said I woke up with a sore throat yesterday morning. I don't know how I got. And it's funny. It's like, yeah, because my nose has been running like crazy. Luckily, it's just been a runny nose that I've been having, and I've been just. That's what I've had, and I've had a little, a little cough here and there, but it's not as bad as like my previous ones. I don't know. Y'all probably don't even remember, but it was like what was it last year? It got so bad that I literally had no voice. And I went to work, and what was annoying to people is like, oh, I can't hear you. Obviously, motherfucker, I don't have a voice. So if you're not gonna hear me, you're not gonna hear. I'm not gonna have. If I don't have a voice and I'm working and I'm dealing with people, what you want me to do? Rip my like snatch somebody else's? But you want me to Ursula the situation? You want me to take somebody else's voice and put it in my throat? Like that's not gonna happen. So yeah, it's like I don't know. It's stuff's been going around. Cleveland's in the building. Luckily, I haven't been sick in a while, and I'm glad I got my flu shot. My job gave them out. I know one lady was telling me yesterday that one of my coworkers was telling me she said she went down to the CVS. I'm like, I wasn't even doing that. My job said Madison Square Garden said they was giving flu shots. I came in. I was literally in there less than 5 minutes. I would say even less than 2 minutes. I was in there. I was in and out, which I can believe how fast everything went down. Oh, I was like, what's going on with these ladies? They saying something dramatic? Cleveland said that he is excited for this Avengers Doomsday. I was like, I'll be more excited when I hear more, when I get to see a little bit more of. But then I heard yesterday they're saying like Simu Liu. They made it like Shang-Chi is the official cast member of the Avengers or whatever. I'm like, with this long list of chairs that they showed, I would think so. And he ain't the only one. That stupid promotion they did with the freaking chairs. All right, y'all. Now, speaking of Avengers, let's talk about one of them. So, Sebastian Stan. Oh, wait, hold on. That's not it. It's this one. Let's talk about Sebastian Stan. So, apparently, the word came out. There's rumor. Well, not even a rumor. All the major trades are talking about it. Variety, I saw, talked about it. Deadline, all the majors, even some of the other websites and everything has picked it up. Excuse me. You already know that Scarlett Johansson has officially signed on to star in the Batman Part 2, which is the sequel to Matt Reeves's The Batman, which, is like one of my favorite Batman movies. It's like, yeah, I like some of the Christopher Nolan stuff. The Dark Knight is like the pinnacle of movies. But the Batman definitely gave me my life. And I love what Matt Reeves brought to that world. And of course, the Penguin and all the stuff. So there's been I couldn't even think. I was like, because there was a story that was going around. They were like that who he's looking to cast is a father and a son, which was like Harvey Dent and Harvey Dent's father. So when I heard Sebastian Stan, I was like, oh, I totally see him as Harvey Dent. Especially when you have Scarlett Johansson playing the significant other. This was the significant other part where she's playing Gilda was leaked by or revealed by Jeff Snyder. So and then I think all the reports and stuff started coming out afterwards that is who she will be playing, whatever. And then they're thinking that it's going to take a lot of from the other comics and make her, because she's not just coming on board and just doing like some doting girlfriend or whatever. Like that's not what Scarlett Johansson is going to come on and do, especially someone of her caliber. Like there's got to be a lot more meat on the bone. But anyway, so according to Comic Book Movie, they said Sebastian Stan is no stranger, as you all know, to comic book movies. He auditioned to play Steve Rogers in 2011's Captain America, but then, of course, he ended up with the role of his partner in crime, well, his frenemy, then ally again, Bucky Barnes. So Stan has returned to that character, as you know, in several MCU projects, including the abysmal Falcon. Wait, what was that horrible? What was that horrible one? I mean, even though it was like a cameo sequence, he did the one with Sam Wilson when he came in and Captain Brave New World, whatever. That movie was terrible. But anyway, so it was, he did Captain America and Winter Soldier, he was in Civil War, he was in Infinity War, he was in the Falcon Winter Soldier, Thunderbolts, which I actually like Thunderbolts. Even though I know it didn't do all that well financially at the box office, I had fun with it. But then they said he will be back in Avengers Doomsday. Now, they're saying that he might be looking to join Scarlett Johansson by going from the MCU to the DCU. Well, I should probably be more specific and say Matt Reeves's Batverse. So Deadline is reporting that Stan is in talks to join the cast of the Batman Part 2, with his role currently kept under wraps by DC Studios. We recently heard that Reeves is looking to cast Harvey Dent and his father, and Jeff Snyder, as I reported, as I said earlier before I read through this article, he posted on social media, on Twitter, and well, he said this recently, but I was telling you that Jeff Snyder revealed that Scarlett Johansson was coming in as Gilda. Then now he's already posted on Twitter that Stan is going to be Two-Face, which I could totally see him play that role. It was like when I looked at his face, I was like, I could totally see him playing this part. So that's not the only hold on. But that's not the only news. And then again, you know what? I could totally see it because he's kind of played a lot of these. Look, he played Donald Trump in The Apprentice, so I could definitely see like him playing sort of like that debonair attorney type of authoritative figure or whatever the case. Like he definitely gives that as a performer. But that's not the only news that came out. So apparently they're saying that Barry Keoghan could also be, and this is according to Variety, is set to reprise his role as the Joker because as y'all know, he appeared in the closing moments of the Batman. There was like he had like a little small part where he was in the Arkham Asylum and that sort of thing. So so I'm like, I could totally see that. But at this point, I'm like, honestly, I'm so over the Joker. I feel like y'all need to like, especially we're talking about Matt Reeves. He was saying that he wants to give us characters and villains and things that we have never seen before on the big screen. Every time I turn, every movie we've seen so far where they've basically done the whole Batman thing, we've seen the Joker. I'm tired of the Joker. Um, we've seen the Joker from Jack Nicholson to the dearly departed, may he rest in peace, Heath Ledger. Then who else is played? Please. And then we had Joaquin Phoenix in Foley Out Doo Doo in the other movie that he did, the Joker. And then so I was like, every time we there's been a Batman, a different iteration of Batman, we've always gotten the Joker. If you want to have him come in and do like a little cameo appearance like before or something, okay. But I'm sick and tired of the Joker, to be honest. And it'd be interesting if y'all can try to come in and bring new characters. So they're talking about that movie ended up setting the stage for what sounded like a team up with the Joker and the Riddler, though many fans at the time expressed disappointment that Reeves was seemingly focusing on two villains who have received a lot of screen time over the years. The Clown Prince of Crime, taking center stage in the Batman Part 2, also feels very reminiscent of The Dark Knight in 2008, as does Harvey being in the mix. Excuse me. Saying, quote, in a lot of other films, which I love, once you get past the origin tale, which we didn't quite do, but we did something that referred to his origins, when you start telling the Rogues Gallery story and that character's sort of arc, the, Reeves said last year, but I never wanted to lose Robert Pattinson at the center of these stories. And so that is really what we set our aim on. Now, explaining that the decision to focus more on Bruce Wayne and Batman inspired the choice of villains, the writer and director later confirmed the sequel's antagonist had never really been done in a movie before. And that's why I said that's what we want. We want somebody that we've never really seen done in a movie. I mean, yeah, we've had Harvey Dent before. I don't know if I necessarily liked I like Aaron Eckhart, even though Aaron Eckhart is still out here trying to get his action movie part on. Like he does a lot of straight to Hulu action films and Prime Video. But and I like Aaron Eckhart, and I thought he did a good enough job for what he did with the Dark Knight. But to be honest, if he got something else that's different that he wants to bring to the Two-Face character, and especially when we get to see Gilda Dent and what she does in that whole situation, what Scarlett Johansson's character is going to bring in regards to that of her being his love interest and some of the things regarding her character in the comics. If they're going to explore a lot of that, I'm relatively interested to see what they're going to do with that and how they play off each other in this, because obviously they've done scenes before because they were in the Avengers. So to see them kind of take more of this dark turn and this multi-layered turn in this film, I'm definitely curious about it. Now, as far as like as I said with Barry Keoghan, I'm over the Joker and all this other stuff. But if y'all can find some interesting way to bring Joker to, oh yeah, and I forgot Jared Leto also did the Joker. So I'm just like, if you can find another way of just making the Joker entertaining, I'm here for it. But at this point, how many times can you come and give us a different version of Joker? That's just like, okay, you're gonna constantly be compared to other people. Because I feel like even though y'all hated on it when he first got cast, I mean, yeah, Jack Nicholson is the overall. I mean, some people go as far back as the TV show, but who's old enough in this channel or in this chat that could be like, oh yeah, I remember the old Batman TV show for Batman. I'm like, please, I wasn't even born when that show came out, so I have no connection with that. My connection would be Batman with Jack Nicholson as the Joker, the Tim Burton Joker, the Tim Burton Batman universe. That's my overall connection because I was a little kid when that movie came out, and how Batman Returns like one of my all-time favorite movies. And me and my classmate Mario, who I later came to find out was also a homosexual, we used to quote all the lines from Michelle Pfeiffer in that movie. So that was our Catwoman. So um, there's been so many different versions of Joe, but to the point I was trying to get to was the fact that how people didn't really see it for Heath Ledger until they saw that performance, and now everybody holds that performance to like such a high standard. And then after that, you had Jared Leto try to come and do his own thing where he was trying to look like this whole gangster thing with the grills in his mouth. I kind of like that whole rock star look that he gave him, but people really wasn't feeling it. And I don't know if it was necessarily him, his performance, or it was the fact that it was the movies that he was giving that performance in because the movies really weren't that good. So I don't know if it could be from that situation, but and I like Barry Keoghan, but if they can find an interesting way of making him, making the Joker interesting, then I guess, excuse me, I'll be here for it. So in the meantime, I want to hear from you all. What do you think of this story? Who do you think that Sebastian Stan will be playing in the Batman Part Two? My money definitely is on him playing Harvey Dent slash Two Face because I'm like, they said that they're looking for somebody in their 40s to play this character. Sebastian Stan is in his 40s. Um, and he definitely, in my opinion, fits all he checks all the boxes in regards of like the casting. I don't know why I didn't see it before, but like after they mentioned it, I was like, okay, I could definitely see Sebastian Stan giving us Two Face in a lot of ways. He's definitely a good actor and he's a good looking guy. So I definitely will looking forward to seeing what he will be bringing to this role. So in the meantime, I definitely want to hear from you all and your overall thoughts on this story. So drop them in the comments down below. Who's all ready for Madonna? I do agree the vibe is much more different. There's more excitement for her one-off Italian single as well as the dance album. Well, probably because, Madonna always steps outside the box and tries different things. And I think that's what we kind of want from her again. It's like she's going back to basics. She went back to Warner Brothers, which was like her home. That's always been her home in so many ways. Because Sire Records was a part of Warner Brothers. That's always been that's familiarity. And they allowed her to experiment and try different things with her music. So for her coming back and like the first song you're gonna hear from me is like from a Dolce and Gabbana campaign where I'm gonna be singing in an Italian song where I believe it's gonna be in Italian and in English. Kind of like how I feel like she's done that before where she's taken someone's song and she's changed it up and I've always liked when Madonna sings in different languages. Of course, like with Paradise Not For Me, that's such an avant-garde track where she sings that song in English and then she does it in French. So I've always liked when she gets in her creative bag. And it was like because I don't think she got to do that with Interscope. Interscope was just like you were basically chasing trends and then setting them. And hopefully she can get back to that. Um, yeah, I do definitely think that it's a good thing for artists to kind of like go away, spend time, live life, and it's like with for instance, Jill Scott. Jill Scott has a new album coming out. When I heard that, I was excited because I love me some Jill Scott. So when I heard about Jill Scott was coming out with a new album and she was just like it's been 10 years since she dropped the record. And I know that's a lifetime for a lot of people, which is like, you got to go away. You got to live life. You got to like take some things in, go out, sightsee, act, try other artistic, stretch your, other artistic endeavors. And then you can come back to the music. And based off of some of the producers that I see she got on this record, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely here for that. So maybe Jill Scott be able to save R&B. He said Mary J. Blige won big time. The court agreed with her and had the lawsuit dismissed with prejudice, meaning the stylist can't appear. Oh, you talking about? I was like, who are we talking about? But you talking about Misa? Yeah, that's what it was, right? It wasn't that Diddy baby mama was suing her. And we talking about that case? I totally forgot about it. I listened to the original version of the song Dante is covering for the commercial. I heard we got the first single in February and the album in April. Yeah, sounds about right. And then she can go over there and promote. Um, she can promote in different places, like take the time to really promote the record. I would say, damn, I kind of wish she would do like she would have been the one to do Coachella. Justin Bieber Dropout. No, I'm just playing. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does a week before, the situation. But because he's notorious for doing stuff like that. I would love to see Madonna do Coachella. Not that I would go. I would just watch it on TV. Um, I would love to see her do Coachella, which she's done before when she did Confessions on the Dance Floor. That she did Coachella before anybody was doing it. She was there. But she did it in a smaller tent, which I actually like because it made it. You know what I miss about artists when you had the mainstream artists who were like, I don't need like the big main stage. I'm gonna do it in the small tent because it still gives that. Even though I'm a mainstream chick, I'm still that underground artist. I'm still that artist that came up in the clubs and that sort of thing. So I want that atmosphere. Give me a small stage. We'll have the little, the disco ball come up, and we'll just have the band and a couple of dancers, and just give you like a real club stage show. So I like that she came at it at that whole situation. And so I'd like to see her do the festival circuit, like Glastonbury and all that other stuff to hype up the record. And then do a tour. And then do what was it? And then do a tour maybe 2027? I think that's what she should do it. Well, look, as long as they make money, they're not going nowhere. So I'm over faceless men. Um, he'll likely play. Yeah, that's what I said. He'll likely play Harvey Dent. Because I'm like, what other character could he possibly be playing? It already came out that that's who is going to be in that is who's going to be in the film. That Harvey Dent's story is definitely going to be, and it kind of fits because the whole legal court, criminal underworld, that's sort of that angle that Matt Reeves is taking on in the first film and in the Penguin. I don't know why I think that was the name of the show, the Penguin. Um, I could definitely see it kind of going in that direction. All right, so now let's move on to our next topic. And look like we got some good news for Sydney Sweeney. She's currently winning after a couple of flops in 2025. She had one in 2025, one good one, which would be The Housemaid. And now word on the street is that Housemaid 2 is in the works, and she will be coming back to reprise her role as the same character she played in the first one. And yeah, and I didn't even know it was based on there was another book, but apparently there is. Because I know they said this is based on the first film was based on a book, but I didn't know there was a series of books. Well, apparently there is. So, according to Deadline, they said a mid-box office success for The Housemaid. It's Frida McFadden thriller starring Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, and Brandon Sklenar, who y'all know is who I want as Batman, by the way, in The Brave and the Bold. Lionsgate is moving toward a 2026 production start for a sequel. The Housemaid's Secret, based on the second novel in McFadden's best-selling so there's 3 books. I didn't know that. They said trilogy. So if the second one does well, then we can get the third book. They said the project has been in development for the past few months, with Sydney eyeing a return to star and executive produce, and co-star Michelle Monroe also looking to reprise. It's expected that Paul Feig will return to direct from a script by Rebecca Sonnenschein, who adapted The Housemaid. Producers will include Todd Lieberman of Hidden Pictures, Feig and Laura Fisher of Feig's Pretty Dangerous Pictures. The Hidden Pictures, Carl. Okay, there's a bunch of people in here. Y'all don't even know. And we don't need to move on. We can move on from that. They said the film will be overseen by Lionsgate Chelsea Kujawa, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Now, let's get to the juicy stuff. So it says it's clear from both the global box office and from the outpouring of social media that audiences have responded strongly and audibly to the totally unique and truly theatrical experience of The Housemaid and want to know what happens next, said Lionsgate Motion Picture Group Chair Adam Fogelson. We believed in these stories in the very beginning, and we are beyond excited to bring the next chapter of Millie's story to life on screen in collaboration with our outstanding creative partners, Todd, Paul, Laura, Carly, Alex. I want to say Todd, Paul, Ringo, and all of them. I want to name the Beatles, but they don't have nobody named Todd in the Beatles. The Housemaid's Secret is another wildly thrilling book in Frida's series that has captivated readers worldwide, and we look forward to translating it into a similarly rousing and riotous movie-going experience. Said Hidden Pictures Lieberman, a producer on both Housemaid films, saying we're thrilled with the reception and incredibly proud of the entire team from Freddie McFadden, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So it looks like everybody's pretty much happy. Even the director said he's been thrilled to see audiences around the world fall in love with the film and the cast and crew and go on this journey with Millie and all other stuff. So the Housemaid broke out as a hit, taking in over 75 million domestically in its first 17 days of release and $133 million worldwide, with international territories continuing to roll out through January. The film plunges audiences in a twisted world where perfection is an illusion and nothing is as it seems, trying to escape her past. Millie, played by Sweeney, accepts a job as a live-in housemaid for the wealthy Nina Seyfried and Andy Winchester. Not Winchester, child. Where's Sam and Dean? But they said, but what begins as a dream job quickly unravels into something far more dangerous, a sexy, seductive game of secrets, scandal, and power. My kind of movie. Behind the Winchester's closed doors lies a world of shocking twists that will leave you guessing until the very end. And then they said Maroney plays Enzo, the mysterious groundskeeper for the Winchester estate, who becomes an ally of Millie's. And the book was, I didn't even realize it was published not that long ago. The first book, well, they said The Housemaid's Secret was published in 2023. So it's not even like a 5-year-old book yet. It's not even a 3-year-old book because it said 2023. It just turned 2026. So I'm gonna give it like 2 years in there. So they basically said The Housemaid's Secret, in case y'all are wondering, it finds Millie in a new job with fresh promises, though she quickly realizes that she's found herself inside another dangerous household where nothing is what it seems. The first Housemaid film ended with Millie interviewing for her next job, which she's destined to get, given Nina's recommendation. So the books have sold over 12 million units across all titles, with The Housemaid's Secret accounting to 4 million and has been translated into 40 languages. The book has been a New York Times bestseller for 65 weeks and counting, and won the 2023 Goodreads Choice Award for Best Thriller. McFadden published the third book of the series, The Housemaid is Watching, in 2024. So it looks like people are loving this franchise. People love the movie, the books. I guess they were hoping that the movie would do the books some justice. And we already know, like, movies never do. I mean, we'll never. What is the word? You will never say like the movie was better than the book. If there is, when y'all gonna say that, definitely let me know if there's a movie that was better than the actual book. But if a movie is good enough to do the book justice, then I'm here for it. But this to me seems like more up Sydney's alley. Instead of her trying to play these serious roles, which we know she can act, she has the range. With her playing Christy and all that other mess, but nobody wanted to see her in that. People want to see her doing all this type of stuff. They want to see you being met. Like, maybe position yourself. Look at me giving somebody advice. Maybe position yourself to kind of be similar in the way of like Scarlett Johansson, where now since you're producing things and you realize that The Housemaid is what people want to see you in, getting your Scarlett Johansson, Margot Robbie bag and look at what books are out there that would fit into something that I can challenge myself on and play those parts and develop those books into a movie. Because It's like, yeah, if they leave it off like she went and did an interview for another house, and now this house got all their secrets and things. This sounds relatively interesting. I would definitely want to check it out. I haven't gotten around to the movies and see anything yet. I am this week. I'm probably not going to be able to see The Housemaid in theaters because there's way too many movies coming out this month as it is. And one of the movies I want to see that's coming out this week that I'm hearing rave reviews about is Primate. So I definitely am going to go see that. Um, but yeah, The Housemaid definitely is something. It seems to me like definitely is the type of films that people want to see Sydney Sweeney in. And I understand you want to be taken seriously and you want to be real actress. Blah, blah, blah. These people don't care. They want to see you looking like a damsel in distress. They want to see them titties tittying, and they want to see like the scandalous drama. They want to see that. They want to see you being Cassie from Euphoria and all the other movies and things you do. And I understand you want to be like, I want to be an actress, and those. And yeah, you are in technical forms, you are an actress. But people want to see this is what the audience is gravitating towards. And at this point, it's like I can't see you trying to go the Timothy Chalamet route with your career because these people ain't here for it. I mean, unfortunately, she's not a guy, so she can't do the things that men do. But I'd be definitely interested to see when look, first of all, I feel like this movie is about to come out on digital release any damn day now. So there's really no point of me even trying to wait to go to the damn movies or waste money to go to the movies. I'll just wait maybe 2 more weeks. It'll be out on streaming and I'll be, like Prime Video, and I can just rent it for like $20 in my house and watch it that way. And I'll definitely, if the movie is good, which I'm hearing, and I haven't heard anybody who saw this movie say the movie is trash, um, then I'll be looking forward to the sequel. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story, hearing this news? Are you surprised based off of this film that, yeah, The Housemaid is getting a sequel? So this is literally a win for Sydney Sweeney. And it also goes to show that, with all the other serious films that you've been out there doing, this is what people want to see you do. They want to see you do stuff like this. They want to see you do that little horror movie where you was a nun and got pregnant. They want to see stuff like crazy stuff like that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I had a feeling she'd do a housemaid sequel. I wonder who will play the housewife. She's helping because Amanda was great in the movie. She made me laugh a few times. Well, yeah, now there's a new family. It'll be interesting to see what new actors they bring in this. Elizabeth Perkins played the husband's mother. We like Elizabeth Perkins. And you said once they do, Scarlett got better. Once they do, Scarlett got better movies, and so did Margot. It's a streaming film. Wait, what are you talking about? You said once they do, Scarlett got better movies, and so did Margaret. What's a streaming film? Are you talking about The Housemaid is a streaming film? Well, look, a lot of people didn't seem to think so. They went to the movies to see it. That's how it became a hit. I mean, on paper, The Housemaid definitely gives the type of vibe of like Lifetime movie of the week. But um what I've realized is that the way people take in movies now, they have to be based on a book. They got to be based on a comic book. They got to be based on something that we are familiar with. It's very rare we get to see something with an original idea. Which I will say this, I am really looking forward to. I forgot the name of that movie. With what is it? Zazie Beats. That's coming out. Hold on, because I totally forgot the name of the damn movie. But I saw the trailer for that. I was like, okay, bitch, I am in for this film. It's called They Will Kill You. I don't know if y'all saw that trailer. It's like a cross between Ready or Not and um damn, what was that movie with? I think it was Shailene Woodley or somebody or another was in it, where she was in this house and these people were trying to kill this girl, but she was actually they didn't realize who she was and she was killing everybody up in that house. It's given that. She plays basically a woman, funny enough, a maid, like a housemaid. It's like she ends up in this building, taking a job. She just got out of prison. She is a maid. And what they don't realize is that what she doesn't realize is that when she gets this job that she's actually a sacrifice, that they have to sacrifice a human once a year to Satan or something or another. So you got Tom Felton in it, you got Patricia Arquette, you got a bunch of people in this damn movie. Draco Malfoy, in case y'all know who Tom Felton was from the Harry Potter movies. So they got a bunch of them in there. They all trying to kill her. All the people in the staff, everybody's trying to kill her up in there. And one of the girls was like, "Where you learn how to fight like this?" She was in prison. So she in there fucking everybody up. Lights an axe on fire. She chopping people in half. It's like it's got this Kill Bill vibe. Somebody even said that when they was looking at Zazie Beetz doing the action sequences in this movie. If y'all haven't seen the trailer, check it out. Somebody said when they seen Zazie Beetz in this trailer, they was like, she could totally play Vanita Green's daughter, Nakia, in a Kill Bill movie if they were decide to make that film. I'm like, you want to know something? I could definitely see her playing that part. She could play her, and then you get Maya Hawke to play the bride's daughter, BB. That would be perfect. And you saying somebody's sick? Yes, I have a cold. We talked about that earlier. You missed my first comment. I can't type everything because I'm limited on. You limited on love, or you say you limited on live? Let me show first comment because when after the Two Face thing, this comes up, and then this comes up, and then this comes up, and then this comes up. So yeah, you said so. Whatever that first comment was, it wasn't there, sir. You said yes. It reminds me of Ready or Not mixed with something else. I think. Oh, what was the name of the movie called? You're Next. I think was the name of it. Somebody said yeah. It was like a cross between Ready or Not mixed with You're Next. It definitely had Ready or Not vibes up in there. Somebody also said Rosemary's Baby, but not Rosemary's Baby because Rosemary's Baby they went and they drugged her and had Satan R-word her and get pregnant with the child of the devil. So there's none of that up in there. It's like they're trying to sacrifice her to the devil. And the fact is, it's very much giving Rorschach from Watchmen. He's like, yeah, I'm not stuck in here with y'all. Y'all are stuck in here with me. Which I did love Rorschach, even though he was racist, homophobic, and he stunk. But I definitely like that character. I actually went as him for Halloween once. Anyway, let's move on so we can get to the messy part of the show because I want to get all the little cutesy juicy stuff out of the way. So let's get to this Star Search news. So apparently we found out who is the upcoming judges for this Star Search reboot because Anthony Anderson is hosting it. And I have to say this, when I heard who's going to be the judges, which I can pretty much read in the lower third, I'm here for it. So yeah, it was announced today. And funny enough, I just saw Chrissy Teigen the other day on Christmas at the Knicks game. With John Legend and the kids. So Netflix, as y'all know, is reviving the iconic talent show Star Search, and it's shaping up to be pretty major. As I stated before, we already know that Anthony Anderson is going to be hosting the competition series, which is going to air, I believe, live on Netflix, and it's going to last 5 weeks. Now, the streamer just announced a panel of judges, and Jelly Roll, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Chrissy Teigen will be the judges, which I have to say that's a lot of talent in one room. You got a Grammy winner who just lost over 200 some odd pounds. So Jelly Roll is basically Jam Roll. Like, what do we call him now? Because he's not Jelly Roll. I mean, he's a lot smaller. Jelly Hole? I don't know. No, that sounds like a drag queen named Jelly Hole, like Cheryl Hole. Um, so yeah, we got him. Then we got First of all, y'all shady with this comment. They said you got a Grammy winner, an Emmy winner, and John Legend's wife. Now, don't that sound shady? Because I'm like, yeah, well, Chrissy Teigen ain't with nothing, but we like her. She's a great personality. I like her. She cute. Now, Netflix originally set the premiere date for January 13th, but they pushed it back to January 20th. I'm wondering if they did that because they were still trying to negotiate who the judges and stuff were going to be for the show. So that's what I'm wondering if the reason why they pushed it because it's supposed to come out next week. And now they're having it come out in 2 weeks. But and there's been so many competitions. Like I still don't care about American Idol, and I just heard recently that American Idol is going to be going more Christian with the type of artists that they bring on the show because of that black dude that won last season. So they're going more Christian with the music, and I'm like, y'all can hear that. Who y'all gonna put on there? Donnie McClurkin. But then again, like y'all did on that BET show that he was on, what was it called, Sunday Best? But I'm like, if y'all do that, then. Well, I don't know if y'all want to do that with that lawsuit that came out with him, and we're gonna get into that later on into the show. But um, them going more faith based, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Miss Mama drops out Carrie Underwears and y'all get Gwen Stefani loony up and toke his ass up on that show now because y'all want to go Christian with the type of, I'm like, who are y'all basing this around? I guess maybe they're trying to focus American Idol on middle America, which they've always tried to pander to that audience anyway, even back to in the days of when Simon Cowell and them were on there. So y'all can have that. You Christian phony baloney psychopaths, y'all can have that tired ass show. We don't care about American Idol. The Voice ain't never produced a single A-list superstar from that damn show, so I don't even understand why that's on. And I grew up on Star Search. Star Search gave us so many of your favorite artists today. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, did Brandy even sing on that show? I know Aaliyah was on there. I know Rosie O'Donnell was on there. Kevin James was on the show. Also, who? Britney, Justin Timberlake performed. There's so and Usher, Beyonce. So many of your favorite artists started out. I think it was back when the group was Girls Time. That's when Beyonce was on the show because I remember that. So it was like so many big A-list superstars came from Star Search, and that was back in the day when we didn't have social media and all that stuff. So it'd be interesting to see like can they. With them reviving the show, and they revived it before on CBS, I believe, and it only lasted one season. So and that might have been because American Idol and The Voice and all that stuff was so popular that when you're trying to bring one of the godfathers of competition shows back on the air, people wasn't really receiving it. So I think that there is a audience for that now. It'll be interesting to see how Netflix makes this show. Like, what is the thing that you're going to get people to want to watch this? Because I wonder that show that was on with Liam Payne and AJ McLean and Nicole. I was going to say shits on the N word because I always like fucking up her name. Nicole from the Pussycat Dolls and Kelly Rowland. When they did that show, did anybody watch that? What were the numbers on that? Was that show successful? Like I haven't heard much of anything about it. So, but now they say after more than 20 years off the air, and Netflix's Star Search will serve as a modern reimagining of the iconic talent show that served as an early platform for icons like Britney Spears and Beyonce. They're hoping to find the next big thing, and you'll be able to play a part in who makes it to the end. For the reboot, episodes will air live on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, featuring performers from various categories, including dance, music, variety, comedy, magic, and juniors. They'll all go head to head with weekly eliminations. Those of us watching from home will be tasked with voting for our favorites, so we'll have a direct hand in deciding who moves forward and who gets the chop. No pressure. So it's coming on January 20th. You know what? I'm actually here for this. This might be entertaining. So I'm gonna definitely check it out. I like this cast of judges. Anthony Anderson basically is a host now. He barely acts. And I guess after Blackish, you don't need to be doing no crazy show. You make so much money doing these little, these competition shows or whatever the case is. So who wants to be spending, 14 to 16 hours on a set when you could just spend like a couple hours, an hour or two doing a show like Star Search? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you here to has this even zhuzhed up your interest in wanting to watch this show even more now that you know that we have Spring Roll, Sarah Michelle Gellar, or Spring Roll Buffy, and John Legend wife on Star Search as the judges? I mean, shit, I would love to sit on a panel and judge a show like Star Search. That sounds like it'd be a load of fun because you get to see a variety of stuff. I know some people are like, but isn't that like America's Got Talent? You do know that Star Search came out long before there was that show from Simon Cowell. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. How do you feel about Well, child, I think we had this conversation. I said, you know what? Like I said about Florida, they could saw that shit off and let it be their own island. We don't acknowledge Staten Island in New York. And I know I work with quite a few people from Staten Island at the Garden. However, if y'all gonna be out here being racist and all this other mess, we don't need you. You know, New York City is a melting pot, it's diverse. So when you hear clowns like what the hell's his name? Michael Flapperport saying the stuff that he said, like, child, you can pack your shit and leave too. Not Jelly Hole, I ain't going near there. Neither is Bunny, his wife. All right, y'all. So let's get into some music news and let's talk about Bow Wow. So Bow Wow asked this question the other day, which I thought was relatively interesting, where he was addressing award shows. You know, Bow Wow is a musician, but once upon a time, not that long ago, he did host a show called 106 in Park, which I've been hearing so many rumors that they talking about bringing that show back. Even if they do decide to bring that show back, I'm like, mm-mm. First of all, the days of countdown shows and other stuff, that's over. Unless y'all gonna bring it to like a net, or not even a Netflix, bring it to like a YouTube or something or another. But I actually like his idea. So he's seen the rapper turned actor has sparked conversation after questioning whether traditional TV networks should still be hosting music award shows. In a post, he suggested that the music streaming services and digital platforms like YouTube and TikTok might be better suited to take over the space. Saying question, is it fair for networks who don't play music or show music videos to even have music award shows? Should the online companies take over? For example, YouTube Awards, Spotify Music Awards, Apple Music Awards, TikTok Music Awards, etc. But here's the thing: let's rule out TikTok because TikTok is trash. First of all, you got Larry Ellison, um, who owns Oracle. He basically has a stake in TikTok, which is now suppressing any kind of points where we call out Zionism and anything that you say about Israel and what they're doing. You know, they got their hands up in the Palestine thing. Now they starting, they're behind, they've got their hands in what's going on with Venezuela and all that other stuff. So if you speak anything regarding Israel, which they feel like if you say anything against what we're doing, you're anti-Semitic, which I call bullshit on that. Um, I don't want TikTok to get involved because TikTok is giving sort of the similar thing that I don't like about Spotify, which is cooking the books, doing a lot of scandalous shit, just so that way they can push their people, the Drakes and all of it. And we're gonna get into that Drake RICO charge mess coming up later on in the show, pushing their favorite artist to the top of the food chain for them to clear and get all the awards. When it should be, in my opinion, I was like, but should it be fan based? Because sometimes I be looking at some of you fans, I'm be like, I don't be knowing what y'all talking about regards to this music. And the way y'all be voting, I be kind of side eyed. I'm like, really? That's like this other moron talking about that. And this is something different with the award shows, like recently the Critics' Choice Awards. This kid who was an Arianator was tight because Ariana Grande did not win a Golden Globe, not a Critics' Choice. That Amy Madigan, who played, Aunt Gladys in Weapons, won over Galinda in Wicked for Good. I was like, first of all, the right witch won, and what we're not going to do is, because your fave didn't win the award, you feel like she did a better job because. Oh, this is the second time she's been up for an Oscar, and now she's not going to win, and now there's no chance of her getting the Oscar. She never had a chance. No shade, but I don't care how much weight Ariana lost or whatever she was doing. I don't know. I don't care how many letters she wrote. I don't care how many little political games she was trying to play. You had no chance of winning this Oscar. She wasn't going to get it. There's far too many stronger performances from a lot of actors in a lot of better movies because compared to all the films that's being rummaged around as nominations, a lot of them eats over Wicked for Good because a lot of people said they hated Wicked for Good. Wicked for Good was pointless. You took a 30-minute piece of Wicked and you just decided to make a split it into another thing and stretch it out because y'all wanted to capitalize and make it was a money grab. It wasn't about like trying to find a way to tell an interesting story. So I don't want TikTok to get involved because with TikTok and the Ellisons being involved, Paramount answered because I just read a story today that TikTok and Paramount are getting together to do something regarding this primate movie. And I'm like, oh, it makes so much sense because father and son have stakes in it. The son owns Paramount, the father owns TikTok. Now, bought a stake of it. So now you're trying to go hand in hand with that. Where you're using TikTok to promote your movies. But there's interest there because of who's at the top of the food chain running things. So I side eye. I don't want them to get involved. If there was anybody that I would look at, I don't know if I would want Apple. Well, I like Apple Music. I listen to Apple Music. I don't know if I would want Apple or Spotify. I would like them to want to be involved. But if there was anybody that I would think that I would do that would be perfect for an award show, it would be YouTube. Because you could do YouTube when you have music, you have film, and they're trying to get into all those spaces. Podcasting, they air music videos on there as well. A lot of people promote their music videos and stuff on YouTube. It's also a way for YouTube for people to promote their stuff even more with YouTube, since YouTube is trying to build themselves as this big global conglomerate. Yeah, they're already popular in so many ways, but with YouTube, as I'm saying, like when I said before about Netflix's biggest competition aren't these studios, it's YouTube, because they're trying to move in a lot of the same space where they're trying to be the future. And now with YouTube acquiring the Oscars, and that's not happening until what, 2029? I definitely feel like it would be smart if we moved on and transcended into the YouTube space. Because to be honest, I seriously do not understand why there is a VMAs when y'all ain't played a music video in like almost 20 years. So it doesn't make sense. Why are we still doing a music video award show and y'all don't play music videos? And you saw recently for the first time they aired it on CBS. And what they also was trying to do was incorporate a lot of the Grammy stuff, the way that the Grammys run their show, into the VMAs. So that's what I've noticed that they were trying to do to make it feel more like the Grammys and less like the Video Music Awards. Because they were hyping up more of the performances and all these other things and social media and all that other stuff. It's time, like I always say, well, as once the Oracle said at the end of the Matrix, or in the Matrix Revolutions, everything that has a beginning has an end. And it might be time to put some of these award shows to an end and evolve it into something else. So, to be honest, I would have to say I'm definitely here for what Bow Wow has to say on this. But let me read some of the comments, because I got this from the Jasmine brand, by the way. So shout out to them. Wait, actually, let me just pull up the Jasmine brand's post on it and see what the people were saying in the comments. So one person said, artists are also not releasing music videos like that anymore, and a lot of us don't have time to watch them. Although I do miss music videos, the award shows are boring now because of the performances. You have to give us old and new school, not just not just all new school. Well, here's the thing, to say that, well, you saying that you don't have the time. You know how busy I am, and I always find the time to watch a music video? The amount of jobs this bitch over here got, I was like, but I always find time to see a music video. So speak for yourself. Maybe he was speaking for himself. But also, when you look at the BET Awards, they give you old and new school. They don't just give you, oh, who's the latest artist? Because no shade, a lot of you new up and coming girls and a lot of you artists that they be hyping up over the years, y'all live performances, the way y'all be carrying yourselves, trash. That's why I live for my generation. When they be coming out with the Brandies and the Monicas and the Mayas and all of them, when they get up there on that stage and they eat y'all up, because my generation is of the school of like, yeah, training, all that other stuff, artist development. But I understand this generation, this in the industry of now, does not media train, and also they don't train artists. They don't do artist development, I guess is the word I'm trying to look for. So another person said, R&B Junkie Official, I've been saying this, BET don't play music videos 365 days of the year on the main station, but for one night they want to have a music award show. Somebody also said, do the Grammys play music videos? I don't think that was the point of what he was saying. He's talking about this is why reading is fundamental, not for the mental. He said, so the online, well, wait, look, is it fair for networks who don't play music or show music videos be valid to even have music award shows? The Grammys is about celebrating music. They've been doing that for over, how long has the Grammys been on? For over what is it, like half a century or whatever? I can't remember how many years the Grammys been. But the Grammys been around for a long time. It's about celebrating music. But I think what he was getting at, even though he brought too much into it, because now I feel like you just nitpicking the girl that wrote that in the comments. He said, or show music videos. Of course, yeah, you have awards. Do ABC, do they got the American Music Award? Do they play music over there? So why we gotta sit and split hairs and nitpick? I want to see what the people. I hate when I be trying to open this and I don't want to open up what the people were saying. But others say I like it, but we need our own channel and awards. We can't complain about Spotify, etc. Then turn around and give them an award show. Well, I don't use Spotify. Another person said not sure why MTV still has the VMAs, but they don't play videos anymore. And some people, for the most part, a lot of people are agreeing with him. And they said, how about someone of the culture create an award and stop letting others dictate our cultural accomplishments? Well, we have BET. I don't know who's running things over there, but we also have fan base where Isaac Hayes' son actually runs that channel, and that's growing. So who knows? Maybe down the road, if people invest in that and want to go over there with fan base, who knows? Maybe Isaac Hayes the third, or I think that's his moniker, but the son of the legendary Isaac Hayes will go and maybe create an award show or something over there. I want to get more involved in fan base because that seems like a really cool channel. I mean, I have a fan base account. I just barely use it, but I gotta start investing in that. So yeah, I definitely want to. In Kate, and damn, I can't even talk today. So basically, what I want to do is this. I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of Bow Wow? Do you feel like he has a point? Do you agree with what he's saying? What are your thoughts on this whole thing? Do you think that networks who no longer play music videos should still be hosting award shows? My thing is this: I propose YouTube do an award show. Why not? And it's like not only do you incorporate, the music videos and things, but incorporate podcasters and all the other stuff because there's so many different picks of the litter that you have when it comes to YouTube. So why not YouTube do an award show? And since they do house a lot of music videos, and yeah, they always say like, well, people aren't putting music videos out there anymore. So maybe you should do what do they call that thing? The thing where they talk about where people the like best visualizer. I don't know. Since a lot of people can't afford to make a crazy music video like an abracadabra or something like that. If you were somebody that does a visualizer like Alison Goldfrapp or somebody like of that moniker, like a lot of the artists have been doing, then you could do best visualizer to a song, whatever, and then people find creative ways to do that. There's so many creative ways that you could do the whole video thing. So I definitely want to. I know this is multi-layered. It's a lot. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your overall thoughts on this story in the comments down below. Watch a new episode of Worst Cooks in America with Romeo Manila. Where the hell have I been? I didn't even know there was a Worst Cooks in America new season. Romeo the rapper? I would thought you was about Romeo Santos, which I need to read up on that article because the girls is dragging his old shucking and jiving Trump supporting ass on social media, and I'm not surprised. Him doing that same old Aventura bachata music. Because apparently, and I'm glad I didn't work it. There was a secret event that was happening at the Garden last month, and it was somehow that, and I wasn't scheduled for it, thank God. But it was somehow like some Christmas thing that was supposed to be happening. We didn't know who it was. It was literally a tacked on last minute event. Turns out it was Romeo Santos and Prince Royce. They were doing this big old event or whatever. I heard it was a disaster, that there was a producer that was running around telling people, oh yeah, if you're in this certain area, you could all come down and come sit where I was like, first of all, I would have cussed that person out. Because what you're not going to do is come over here and mess up our situation because y'all not filling up seats the way y'all supposed to. And now you got people flooding. Well, so and so told us. Well, I don't give a damn who told you. Who told you this? Show me who they are. Because what you're not going to do is come in here and just do whatever y'all want. So the people was acting like savages. I heard the artists came on late, and now y'all running around here, people mad at them because I don't know if they're necessarily mad at Prince Royce. I've been hearing more of the shade going towards Romeo, but it's because of the whole thing. They won't speak out on what's going on with Trump and the immigrants and the Latin community and all this other mess. So they trying to, and they're my generation. We all in the same age range. So now they're running around like scared to just say whatever they want to say because it's like they made their money, they made their bones, and not gonna go speak out against the administration. Trump even knows who the fuck Romeo Santos and Prince Royce is. He barely could tell Nicki Minaj from Nicki Jam. Speaking of which, I heard Nicki Jam, they're doing some reggaeton cruise and he about to perform on it. You can't make this shit up. Bugs Bunny say sawed off Florida in one of the car. Yeah, that's why I was thinking in my head. I was like, look, saw off Staten Island like Bugs Bunny done sawed off in one of the islands. I get because he did a lot of damage to the U.S. Congress, declared war. That's why I'm like, whatever, child. Yeah, I use YouTube to post my newer remixes like Beyonce. So that's why I was like, why don't we just change? Why don't just let YouTube do it? And yeah, like you were saying too, it's like, yeah, they have, and I was thinking that too. I don't know why I didn't bring that up. They have their own music app. So if they're, and they would literally, the other day, I just saw like when I was on there was like, it came up that they wanted me to subscribe to the music app and all that other stuff. So, young kids today don't have the attention span to listen to songs longer than 3 minutes. True. But that's why it's like, is it possible that we could change it back to like, if artists were to take the time to really build up the songs? I miss the days that we had that, the 10.5 minute remix. Okay, it's the 67th annual. So it's been around for almost 100 years. So I hate when people always try to move the goalposts to try to, I guess, make sense of whatever foolishness they trying to make sense of. It's like, but y'all know what the hell he was talking about. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose because I definitely feel. And I was courteous enough to mute the mic. I was like, Jesus, I can't take it. His nose about is just. Mm. Why is it? See, that's why I hate when I'm like when you work at a place where it's like dealing with a lot of people. It's like you're gonna catch something. But thank God I got my flu shot because I definitely feel like under this administration you got to get all the shots you can because these people out here are nasty. This administration is nasty, and they want us all to die. That's okay. Now let's get into the mess. Now that I edged y'all enough with all the other tea that was going on, now we get into the heavy stuff. Wait, hold on. I got something around here. I still got that Theraflu that oh my god, I'm forgetting names. Who was it that got me that? Wasn't it Joe, I was about to say your government, Cleveland. Ended up sending me something in regards to that. I got something around. I'm probably gonna have to drink some the Theraflu, whatever the case is tonight, and then probably it'll flush it on out. I'll probably feel right as rain tomorrow, but I don't have to go to work until Friday. So I should be able to take care of all of this mess until then. But anyway, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Donnie McClurkin. So I don't know why anybody now, you know what, this I will say irritated me because when I heard about this lawsuit, I was like, well, first of all, I was minding my business. I was at work. Then all of a sudden I was like on a break. So I was like, let me check my messages. All of a sudden my phone was just flooded with stuff about Donnie McClurkin and his allegations going on that he was trying to groom this child who basically hit him up because he said that he had similarities to what Donnie McClurkin had went through, which was that he was S8 as a child. I guess he went through some conversion therapy or whatever. He prayed the gay away. Apparently, he ain't gay no more. So, okay, Andrew Caldwell. Anybody buying into that bullshit? So you can't. Like, I understand this might be hard for some of y'all to believe, but homosexuality is in animals. It has been around since the March of Dimes. It has been around long before speech replaced sign language. It has been around long before the Bible was written by man. So for people to sit up here and think that being a gay is a choice, being gay is an abomination, being gay is something that is taught, that is not, you're not born with it. until you can actually sit around and understand what it's like to be a homosexual. And if you don't understand it, don't speak on it, because you can't sit there. Just like a lot of you straight people know, some of you women know you like dick, and some of you men know you like pussy. There are men out here who know they like dick, and there's bulldaggers out here that know they like pussy. So for people who want to sit up here and change the goalposts because, for whatever reason, you can take that goalpost and shove it up your ass, because I'm telling you from experience what it is. So if people want to sit and believe what they want to believe, you can believe it. Go believe it on somebody else's channel. Don't bring it over here. And that's before anybody come in with the side eye and them stupid ass comments. So you got a predator allegedly going around preying on this man who was in a place of vulnerability in his life, because he said they share similarities, and that similarity came from when he read Donnie McClurkin's book. Child, we only 6 days into January, and I'm having to report all this mess. First of all, we got the insurrection, the anniversary of it. Was the 5-year anniversary of the insurrection today, January 6th. I'm reporting stories on Tyler Pastor Perry. Then we got Will Smith and all this other mess coming on. And it's funny, a lot of people that I was talking about regarding this story with Donnie McClurkin, they was like, oh, I believe it. And child, I believe it too. Because let me tell you something. One of the things I've learned, just like when I always tell you with celebrities, the people that know the tea of what goes on with these famous people, hair and makeup department. A lot of people that work behind the scenes putting a lot of these artists together, they know where all the bodies is buried because they have conversations. Same thing within the church. If you really want to know the tea of what goes on with some of these pastors, these deacons, and these people that are of the cloth, speak to the church queens. Because I remember there was years ago, it was a friend of mine. The first one was one of my friends dated this guy named Marvin. I was at his house. There was a bunch of church queens there, drinking, partying, having a good old time. Then the conversation came around to Donnie McClurkin and the legendary stuff that was going on up in that church. And I was like, I don't put nothing past him and so many of these other people that be out here. So when I say stuff, I'm not just pulling stuff out my ass. I'm telling you from experience and things that people have told me. Now let's get into the story, because this shit is juicy. Not juicy in a good sense, but juicy is like, it's a lot. And Donnie, this is why I can't take a lot of these church people seriously, because a lot of them hide behind God, a lot of them hide behind all these indoctrination, whatever, because it pulls on the heartstrings of whatever biases and stuff y'all got going on. But behind the scenes, they doing some sinister mess. Them religious extremists, the ones you see that are all up in MAGA and hiding behind Trump, the white ones, they all doing it. And then you see it with the black churches as well. This is why I don't particularly care for these mega churches. I'm not someone who is of deep religion, because I grew up Roman Catholic. I pushed away from all of that because of how deep I was within growing up in religion and stuff. My parents wasn't on us as bad as so many other people, but for the most part, yeah, I went to church, went did my communion confirmation, went to Sunday school, all of that other stuff. But once I began critically thinking for myself and taking more of a spiritual path in life, I saw the grift for what it was. And all of this stuff with these mega churches is a grift, including what Donnie McClurkin is doing and is doing with the church part, and is allegedly being accused of with this converting boys to try to pray the gay away, while he getting off on using that as a smokescreen to push forth on his perverted ass sexcapades. So, according to NBC News, because this is the story that I saw a lot of the blogs were referencing, so I was like, let me go to the source. Donnie McClurkin, a Grammy-winning gospel singer and pastor, SA'd a young man over several years and wrote an apology email declaring himself a dirty old man, according to a new lawsuit. And of course, you see in the picture, the guy on the left is the one that's accusing Donnie McClurkin, the queen on the right, of the stuff. Giuseppe Corletto says in the lawsuit that he was struggling to reconcile his sexuality with his faith, when he sought out McClurkin in 2003. The lawsuit says Corletto, then 21, went to McClurkin's church in Long Island, New York, after reading his autobiographical book, which describes how God helped him overcome the curse of homosexuality. And here's the thing, I know a lot of people say, like, why didn't he do this, and this? And I'm like, he was 21 at the time. So When we've had this conversation on this show before, a man's frontal lobe doesn't fully develop until he's in his mid-20s. So when you're young and you're vulnerable and you're dealing with all these things in your life, you don't have an outlet of people or even a source of like, there's nothing wrong with being gay and you're a person of color, where people tell you it's abomination, you're going to hell, is other things. Who do you have to turn to? Especially living in New York. And you would think that New York would be more progressive in regards of homosexuality. It is for white people, but not for people of color. And especially if you come from a place of you've been in the church and you have the church consistently telling you being gay is wrong. Now, at the church event, McClurkin talked about being R-worded as a child, which resonated with me because that's similar to my story. This is what Coletto said in an interview with NBC News. He said he was brought to meet with McClurkin after the event, and the man took an immediate interest in him. At first, it was all very innocent and what I thought was mentoring, Coletto said in the interview. But he now believes he was being groomed from the start. McClurkin began to M-word molest Corletto during the Gay Away spiritual sessions, the lawsuit says, and the abuse escalated over the next several years. During this period, Corletto worked as McClurkin's assistant and regularly traveled with him, according to the lawsuit, which means that a lot of time when you see these pastors and these people who be getting down with the get down, remember Eddie Long, where he would, there were stories that I remember was coming out, and I remember even Funky Dineva told this story, that he said he was in the elevator in Miami and it was 2-something in the morning. I think he was coming from the club or whatever the case was, and he and Eddie Long and a bunch of other butch queens was in that damn elevator and they was going up to his apartment. So a lot of time when you see these men talking about pray the gay away and homosexuality is abomination, they be the ones getting they pipes clean, this pipe and the back door pipe, by these butch queens in their little rooms, and they be calling them their assistants or whatever the case is. I'm telling y'all the tea. Regarding the secrets of the ones that be out here doing the dirt. Not, I don't like a hypocrite. I don't like people that sit up here and talk about homosexuality is wrong, but y'all be out here fucking on people of the same gender. Now, Corletto struggled to process these incidents of SA as McClurkin was both his mentor and employer, making it difficult for him to speak out about the abuse he had suffered. This is according to the lawsuit. So, yeah, it was at the end of the day, he was getting all this abuse, and he probably was like, yeah, I'm a mentor you and I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna also give you a job, I'm gonna give you money. He said that he grew up poor, just like McClurkin, so that resonated with him. And when you're in a position where this man who you're looking up to and you feel like he's gonna change my life for the better, because of all these lies and shit that he put in the book about being delivered from the homosexual demon, which, like I told y'all before, there's no cure for that. You either suck dick or you don't. I know I'm being blunt with the mouth, but I can't. The show is called Chris Avalon Unfiltered for a reason. I don't just, I didn't call it that for my health. So, an attorney for McClurkin, now 66, said the allegations are categorically false, saying at no time did Pastor McClurkin engage in any form of SA, assault, or sexual coercion with Mr. Coletto, the attorney Greg Lisi said in a statement. The claims set forth in the lawsuit grossly mischaracterized their interactions, which occurred over a decade, and some accusations over 2 decades ago. All these allegations are contradicted by the real facts. Well, if you saying they got real facts, you better bring that to the court of law, because I'm not buying it. Now, after the alleged SA at an Niagara Falls hotel in 2013, the lawsuit says McClurkin wrote Corletto an email apologizing for his actions, saying, I am the epitome, the actual epitome, to be frank, of a desperate, dirty old man, and he allegedly wrote in the message, according to the lawsuit, pawning and groping a young man who was just looking for a friendship and close platonic relationship with someone he wants looks to for help, guidance, and spirituality. I feel so foul, so stupid, McClurkin added in the email, according to Corletto's lawsuit, which was filed Friday in State Supreme Court in Manhattan. So if he's got receipts, actual emails, and dates where it's not fabricated, and they could actually vouch that it's his email, Donnie, you in danger, girl. Because when I read, and shout out to Mims, make it make sense over there, friend to the show. If you want to see like a full breakdown of him reading the court documents, Oh, bitch, definitely check out his video because he went in on a lot of the explicit detail regarding it. When he was talking about like some of the actual graphic SA details, where there was a little what they call a baloney wash, what we call that on the show, the little a lot of that going on without the man permission. There was forced backdoor entry on Donnie's part and a whole bunch of other things that was going on regarding that. So he broke down the full thing. I wish I had access to those court documents, but like I said, if you go and I'm all about, helping out a fellow situation. I mean, even though he probably don't even need my help, but um if I'm going to shout out somebody who really goes in and works hard or whatever, a fellow person of color who's spilling the tea, definitely check out Mim's video because he really goes in on his YouTube channel and breaks everything down if you want all the full explicit details. But let's get into the rest of the article from NBC News. Um, so the gospel singer turned pastor has won 3 Grammy Awards and sold millions of albums. His path to stardom was paved in part, of course, by this lady, Oprah goddamn Winfrey. She is the devil. I'm sorry. Oprah, you have given us some of the worst of the worst. You gave us Donnie McClurkin. You gave us Harvey Weinstein. You gave us Dr. fucking in the closet Oz, because I heard gay stories about his ass too, allegedly, and Dr. Phil. The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and Pastor Perry. You gave us that one too. Well, hyping him up and being his friend. You really sure know how to pick him. But then again, didn't Oprah come from a place of abuse too? So it all makes sense why she gravitates towards other abusers and calls them friends. Okay, so now let's so with all that being said, let's get into the rest of the tea. So they also went and said, oh yeah, they said his self-titled album was in 1996. She considered that one of her favorite things. But his childhood was brutal. McClurkin wrote in his 2001 book, Eternal Victim, Eternal Victor. Well, you still are a victim and a victimizer. That's what that book should have been called, Eternal Victim, Eternal Victimizer. That an uncle SA'd him when he was 8, which he believes caused his homosexuality. No, he probably saw the full faggotry up in you and exploited it, which is what, no shade, a lot of these perverts do. A lot of times they tend to see stuff in the children. It's kind of like The Shining. But the gays got The Shining too. I'm not saying it's right. It's not right, but it's not okay. But they see things in these children, and these perverts go and they exploit and take advantage. And then it's a passed down behavior where you have the abused becomes the abuser. And that cycle continues. And I'm not saying all of them do it because I know people who have been abused that have not abused other people or who have been R-worded and don't go around R-wording other people. So there's an exception to the rule, but 9 times out of 10, you do hear a lot of stories that the abused becomes the abuser. So, and I could definitely see this young man coming out and thinking that the same thing is like, well, am I gay because I was born gay because I've always had these feelings, or is it because I was sexually abused as a child and my body reacted in a certain way where I liked it, even though I'm too young to even understand what all this is. And people are telling me that being gay is wrong. So now I'm trying to go against it and pray the gay away. We've all been, a lot of us, well, I'll say for me, we've all been in a place we've fought that battle where it's like, we thinking that I'm just me, whatever, whatever. And then you start hearing people calling you the F word, you're queer, you're all these other derogatory words. And then it starts to be perceived as a negative. So then you go and spend a lot of your childhood trying to hide that aspect of yourself until you get old enough to realize there's nothing wrong with me. And we're going to get to that because he actually went on to say, the accuser, that that's where he found the strength because he realized that he had become comfortable enough in a space where he realized that being gay wasn't wrong. So it took him all this abuse to happen to realize that he wasn't the problem in all of this. The problem is these perverts out here who sit up in here and spew this gospel of being gay is wrong. You need to be delivered. You like pussy. You like those other things. Knowing full on well that is all a lie, it's all a grift, and you're lying to these people because you hate yourself so much. It's the same thing I get from Pastor Perry, where he going around abusing and doing all these alleged things that's coming out about him because he's so indoctrinated in that same world that Donnie McClurkin benefits from that you can't sit and wholeheartedly just live it within your own truth. So you go around trying to make everybody else's life miserable. You go around trying to cop feels on heterosexual boys and turning them out allegedly from all the other allegations that's coming out from about Tyler Sophia Perry and all that other stuff. And so there's that. I always try to do an analyst. I always try to analyze shit when based off the information that I get. I'm like, what is the reason why they're doing why they do the things they do? The Virgo be Virgoing when I be trying to get to the bottom of stuff. So, McClurkin said a seed had been planted, a seed that would be my lot to struggle with for many years to come. He said in the book that reading scripture helped him overcome the struggle. There are many more things that need to be done to break the curse of homosexuality, but that's another book. Child, who gonna read? Well, I was like, who gonna read that? You will be surprised. Self-hating homos. That's who's gonna read it. Corletto said that or just people who are broken. I shouldn't say self-hating because it could be both self-hating and people who are just broken on the inside and is looking for some guidance, but they going into the wrong thing to try to find said guidance. So Corletto said when he read McClurkin's book, he felt an immediate connection. They both grew up poor in New York, and he says that he too was SA'd by a relative as a young boy. Now, Corletto says he went to McClurkin's church and followed his guidance, hoping for the same outcome, saying, quote, I truly did believe he was fully delivered by homosexuality. Corletto said in the interview, I was doing whatever they were saying to rid myself of it. Corletto said he became McClurkin's assistant in 2004, and about 2 years passed before McClurkin began to grope him during Pray to Gay Away sessions. On work trips, the abuse escalated to the R word, Corletto said in an interview and in his lawsuit. Also, what was the other thing that I was hearing? Because it was like, yeah, whoa, they said that there was a male model involved. I don't know if it was a male model as in like somebody like a Tyson Bedford, or it was a male model as in a prostitute. I'm starting to think the latter because I don't think it would have been like trust. But then again, we've heard stories about male models being SA'd. Remember what was it, the Abercrombie and Fitch scandal that went on, where the people over there was abusing and sex trafficking the models that were up under the contract of Abercrombie and Fitch. Child, when you start to look back on all these things that we all revered growing up and looked up to growing up, and you realize the overall scandal that was going on behind the scenes with these people in power, it's crazy when you look at all of this. And it's also sad that there was a situation where they said it was a male model that I guess he was trying to see if he would react a certain way, and Donnie was getting off on it and pleasuring himself. And you're sitting up here using this whole pray the gay away sessions as a way to get your rocks off, is what I was getting from the article. And when I was watching Mims's story earlier, he was breaking down the information when he was reading the report, the legal report, to be specific. Okay, so then they said on a trip to California in 2007, McClurkin also brought his then girlfriend, his beard. The lawsuit said he still forced himself on Corletto and R-worded him in a hotel room. When confronted about the incident, the lawsuit says McClurkin told Corletto he was on medication and didn't remember anything. So now medication causes memory loss. Yeah, I cannot. Unless it was one of them drugs. Because them pastors known to do that too. McClurkin further manipulated Corletto, blaming him for the incident and convincing him that he was the sole culpable party, the lawsuit says. As a result, plaintiff experienced intense shame and confusion. The abuse also took place at McClurkin's house of worship, Perfecting Faith Church. The lawsuit says McClurkin would secretly grope Corletto before going to preach, causing him to cry during the service. According to the lawsuit, and McClurkin would then use his tears to encourage other congregants to openly express emotion. Child, I cannot. So you was out here just groping, abusing, and using your power to manipulate this young man, according to the report. and doing it in the church. But yeah, I don't put nothing past. You be surprised the scandalous things that people be doing in that church. That if them walls could talk in some of these churches, I'm sure there's many a bodies that not buried, but there's been many a bodies that have been bodying up in there. There's probably a lot of evidence on them walls and in them carpets and on the and in them pews too. Evidence as in DNA. Skeet skeet. Now, Corletto attempted to quit his job multiple times, the lawsuit says, but McClurkin guilted him into staying. So, for those of you going to ask, why you stuck around? Why are you coming out with old news? I'm sick of y'all when y'all say that. Y'all don't know how grooming works? We've been trying to explain it to y'all for the longest. Look, wasn't there, what was it, the story that just came out with wasn't it a story about Will Smith and that alleged lawsuit? That one just happened months ago. Not that I believe it, but it happened months ago. That was recent. But people still probably complain about why y'all take so long to come out with the suit. So they went on to say, quote, he would always compare me to people in the Bible like Elisha and Elijah, Corletto said, referring to the prophets who had a mentor-mentee relationship. There was a lot of biblical manipulation. Well, it's all a biblical. Everything in that Bible is about manipulation, especially the way these pastors try to twist the word. I thought I was to blame, Corletto added. I was brainwashed to think that my deliverance was wrapped up in him. He finally quit in 2008 and ultimately got a job with a major airline, which is a very gay profession. But McClurkin continued to pursue him, the lawsuit says. McClurkin's public profile grew during the period. Corletto says he was preyed on. The acclaimed gospel singer performed at the Republican Why y'all surprised? Of course, he performed at the Republican National Convention in 2004. Who was running then? I don't remember. And in 2000, was it Mitt Romney? And in 2007, he appeared at a gospel event organized by then candidate Barack Obama's presidential campaign, sparking a backlash from homosexual right groups and prompting Obama to issue a public statement saying, I strongly disagree with Reverend McClurkin's views, because the gay people were saying, you out here running on this whole campaign of being being a homosexual is wrong. It's immoral, even though you are full on arrogant on that panel spreading a lie. And you got Barack Obama of all people who's supposed to be pro-gay. He wasn't at first, but then came around. And then the passing of, gay marriage and all that other stuff. And now you got this old Tide Queen up there, and the gay rights groups are back. Meaning it was the white ones. Because were there any black gay rights groups that was protesting? Because the white ones are always real loud with their stuff, especially with their donations. So then they said Corletto says he became depressed and the S word in the years, as in unaliving yourself, in the years after the Niagara Falls hotel incident in 2013. He attempted to unalive himself. And I would say, I got to edit as I'm going through this. And afterwards, he briefly returned to McClurkin's church. I thought, well, you strayed from God. You got to go back to God. That's another thing, too. Not you saying, so you got to go back to God. I hope you weren't equating McClurkin as being God. Because one of the things that I don't like about these people that are in these powerful positions of like being a pastor, whatever the case is, you're not God. You're not a deity. You're not Yahweh. You're not this big, powerful being. You are flesh and blood like everybody else. God is the full entity of all things. These people are human. So let's stop putting these Donnie McClurkins, that other fat bitch, what's her name? Kim Burrell. Let's stop putting these people on these pedestals. The TD Jakes and his swallowed. Let's stop putting all these bitches on a goddamn pedestal. Them and even the white ones, Joel Osteen, who wouldn't open his church when that whole situation happened down in Texas. That football stadium that he called a church. So stop putting these people on these pedestals. Anyway, so where was I? Oh, then they said, but he soon decided to leave the church and cut off all ties with McClurkin. Corletto said it wasn't until last year that he came across the email McClurkin sent after the night in Niagara Falls, saying, I know I apologize for my wrong attitude from Wednesday, but I want to apologize for all my behavior that has been wrong and put you in the wrong place. This is what McClurkin wrote, according to the lawsuit. I have no one, and I feel it more than ever. And I was horribly wrong trying to force you into something that you were consistently saying no to, which means you literally was out here R-wording people. Because if I said no, no means no. Last I checked. Then he says, I am too old to be like this. Yes, you are too old to be a self-hating homosexual. Carletto said the email, following years of emotional and spiritual turmoil, was a source of relief, saying, I didn't make this up. I wasn't crazy. I felt vindicated in some ways. He's literally admitting to this guilt. The suit is being filed under New York City gender motivated violence protection law, which in 2022 extended the statute of limitations for plaintiffs to sue over sexual abuse allegations. The 2-year window closed in March of 2025, but parties have, in some cases, entered into what's known as tolling agreements, which extend the statute of limitations. Corletto's lawyer, Thomas Giuffra, I think that's how you say his name, said he hopes the lawsuit will provide his client with compensation, closure, and some measure of justice for what happens to him. Giofra says, I'll call Mr. G. Mr. G says McClurkin took advantage of someone who was confused and had problems accepting his sexuality coupled with his religious beliefs. It's really very sad. Now, Coletto says he's now in a much better place. He's married and no longer feels tormented. You married to a man or a woman? We want to know. I'm thinking it's a man. Because ain't no way. Now they said, ever since I did embrace my said I guess it is a man. Ever since I did embrace my sexuality and stopped trying to change it, the weight of suicide has left me. Corletto told NBC News. Things are still a bit more complicated when it comes to his faith. He says he's tried to go to church, but has been unable to sit through an entire service. He says, I listen to praise and worship music still, and that's what I consider church. So, in many aspects, though I lost friends, community, my religion, I found myself, my family, my peace. And you want to know something? Shout out to you, because this is definitely awesome that you've come to that conclusion. That is like, you know what? At the end of the day, I had to love and accept me, even though it took the roundabout way to get there and these years of alleged abuse that I had to endure in order to come to that point. And those people that you lost, they weren't your real people to begin with, because people who truly love you for you will accept you for how you are, regardless of what people say or how they feel. If they want to throw in a faith and say you're an abomination, no, no, bitch, your mama's an abomination. That would be my go-to, because you know how I get with this mouth. I cuss everybody out. So you and finally coming to terms with who you are and embracing your sexuality is like, yeah, that weight lifts. And that's the point. So hopefully, with all of this has come out, I hope that's what those people out there who are struggling with their sexuality, that's what you take from it. And I like the idea of him saying, because that's how I felt too. It's like, I love church music. Um, I will say this. You know what I love more? I love gospel house. Someone like Floor Plan, father and daughter DJ duo, when they do their gospel house remixes of songs, whatever the case is, or just regular tracks that they do, that's where I get my feeling of church and that spiritual feeling from. And I follow more of a spiritual path, and that seems like what he's doing too. So all those things that you were taught in regards of, oh yeah, I'll be wanting to go to church and I want to feel that sense of community, whatever, you're not going to get it from a situation where these people are divisive and are all about negativity and all those other. You don't need it from that. Keep away from that, because when you realize you go in those church places, them people are all about showing out with their outfits, looking down on people like they better than, and all these other things. The people in the church do it, and the people that's on them pulpits do it. The pastors and all other stuff. So that sense of I'm better than you and judgmental. And I got family members that are evangelicals, and they are the worst and the most miserable. And I can tell you that as a fact. So I'm glad that you finally found yourself, and I hope you get the justice you deserve. Now, do I believe this stuff with Donnie McClurkin? Is the Pope Catholic? I totally believe all this other mess. And you want to know something? What I hope this also does is that it opens a Pandora's box for other people who are victims like him to come forward and tell their side of the story. Because I don't think it just started and ended with him. I'm sure there's other bodies that that he's done these things too. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding this Donnie McClurkin tea? Um, with all the other things that I brought up in there about praying the gay away and the experience of what it's like growing up gay and being told it's wrong and abomination and what especially queer people of color have to deal with in when you're battling this spiritual religion and being gay, that sort of thing, and everything that goes in with that, and how there are people that will literally that are in these places of power that prey on people who are really just looking for clarity. You got these other abusers that come in and pounce on them, like smelling the shark, the blood in the water, smell it like the sharks do. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was like, I hope I covered all the sides with that. Hold on, where am I going? Um yeah, maybe for your dumb ass he is, but not over here. That's some goddamn Trump. Genuine question I want to ask a New Yorker: is West Village the best neighborhood for homosexuals in the city, or does Bushwick? Look how fast I answered that. Brooklyn got the better clubs and the better parties. Funny enough, the West Village used to be the mecca of like partying and clubs and things of that nature. And we still have a couple of spots there. We have I mean, and first of all, what I used to love about growing up in New York was the fact that I got to experience going to like black queer bars and clubs and stuff. Well, the big one for us was Esquilita in Midtown. That was iconic. That's why I met Harmonica Sunbeam and Angel Sheridan, Karen Covergirl, so many of the icons and the ballroom girls and all other stuff. But the West Village, we still got what were they? Then they closed the Hangar, which was still like one of the last spots where they had like a bar for queer people of color. They closed that down. I forgot what they turned that into. It's been a minute since I've been over there. Then we had Two Potatoes and we had Chi Chi's. That's what we had when we was growing up, and that was like the gay bar. That was the first time when I was like a teenager. A friend of mine took me. th- this boy that I blew on the school bus. We went. We ended up going down to what was it? Two Potato. That was an iconic spot. That's where all the like the boys that I mentioned and like B-boy blues and stuff. Those are the type the Banji boys and all of them was up in there. The Butch Queens and the Femme Queens and the trans girl. That's also where I met Tyra Allure, aka Dominique from uh Pose. That's where I met her. Like that was her stomping ground when she used to be up in there doing her drag performances and stuff. So um but I know I'm going all over the place with it. Bushwick is the new place now because there's not really a lot of good spots in the West Village anymore. Yeah, we have the iconic Stonewall. We have the Monster. We have the Hole in the Wall Ties. We have the Bear Bar and Club. We have oh my God, why did I forget the name of it? Because my friend Dijon works there as the security. So we got that spot, but yeah, Brooklyn, $3 bill. That's a cute spot. That's why I saw like a couple of Drag Race girls was there. My friend did like some of the photography. Lady Bunny was also there too. And we took like a quick photo. Um, so Brooklyn's got the better spots. I think it's also Brooklyn is more edgier. Like you get more of like the hipster crowd out there. I'm not really feeling a lot of, especially like Hell's Kitchen. Hell's Kitchen is like the spot now. And Hell's Kitchen is like more like what Chelsea used to be. Boys who wear like tight shirts, tight jeans, that listen to Britney. I think it's very much that pop culture, like pop music girlies. They're not edgy with the music. Robin is more like Bushwick, Brooklyn. That's why she did her 2 shows in Brooklyn because that's more like her vibe. Uh, Hit that asshole like to be swallowed. McChokin. I had to change that name. Donnie McClurkin. Is the statute of limitations a thing of the past? No, well, I think they did explain what the statute of limitations thing. Not the I said it's kind of like the shining for the gays. There was a drag race girl that said that they slept with. Dr. Oz. I'm not even gonna say which one. Um, but he said, who else did you say? I've always loved Oprah. You can like Oprah. I don't particularly care for her because of who she aligns herself with. Like, two things can be true at the same time. People could be a success and all the amazing things, but the people she aligns herself with, I don't particularly care for her. That's his name, since he likes slurping on that meat. Oh no, I remember that with the whole Maui situation, where she was more or less concerned about trying to protect her land versus, everything else that was going on out there. Isn't that from a movie? Squeal like a pig. It's like Miami was the gay mecca when I first. Yeah, that's what I said. Once Splash, Child Splash ain't been open in for like 20 years. Jesus, I think I could be wrong. Oh my god, I used to love Splash. Every Friday after work, that's where I ended up. Um, me and my friend Rodney, we would go on Wednesdays. Um, because we knew the bartender, like this real buff white dude. So during like happy hour, we'd be up in there drinking, having a good time watching. This is around the time when Holla Back Girl came out and Madonna's Hung Up. Child, I was in there doing the choreography. That's how fucked up I. That was funny. I totally remember that people was getting into it. It was like, because I was up in there doing the whole, the hung up choreography while I was drinking. Um, and yeah, so I used to live in Splash, and then on Wednesdays, my friend Raven Roscoe used to do a show at night. That was the urban night, and that used to piss me off because I was like, "This is some low key racist shit." I'm like, "Why is it that y'all have glasses when all of the other shows come on, but when it's the urban night, y'all switch the plastic cups?" So I clocked that from the beginning. They used to piss me off because Splash was more, and you know what? That was the place. Also, they threw shade at Janet Jackson because she came in there with the wrong attire on, and they was going to let her in the room. I mean, in the club. So there was a lot of legendary parties, a lot of really cute go-go dancers and stuff. So I used to live for Splash, but no, Splash ain't been open since like the 2000s. I used to love that club. That and XL, where they shot the first XL, because they had two. They had the second one when during like season 5 of Drag Race, because that was the one that was when I first started doing like interviews with the Drag Race girls with season 5 of Drag Race. And they had it at the out New York City. They had an XL in there. That was the second one. The first one was like this little small spot, I think on 14th Street and 8th Avenue. And my friend Sir Ari Goldman, he rest in peace, he performed there, and I got an autographed CD from him for his album Space Under Sun. And that's where they also shot that gay club scene of Sex in the City when they had the fish tank and the urinal thingy. That was the original XL. Well, thank you for you're welcome. I was gonna get in my old club bag. I mean my club bag. If you said, is he a power bottom or a rock? Well, it could be both. That's what I said. Isn't that squeal like a pig? Didn't that come from a movie? Well, that's probably what they were talking about. Delivered deliverance. We had the Copa in Fort Lauderdale, but it closed in 2005 because that's another thing I guess you got to worry about too in Florida. Y'all get a lot of those hurricanes and stuff. So, yeah, nightlife ain't what it used to be. Yet they keep opening up clubs in New York. Y'all need to start bringing down them prices on that drinking. Because I'm hearing like they said this new generation, y'all barely go out and drink alcohol because the drinks is too expensive. All right, y'all. So now let's move on from Donnie McClurkin and let's talk about Tyler Sophia Perry and Christian Keys. So Christian Keys is a name that we have not brought up on this show in a month of Sundays. Well, I can't necessarily say that because every time when I be talking about these allegations from Derek Dixon and Mario Rodriguez, I do drop Christian Keys' name in the mix because Christian Keys, remember, before all these other allegations came out, he was insinuating that there was some powerful man in the industry that had done some sexual things towards him, and he had threatened that he was going to reveal all. And then all of a sudden, the suit went away because everybody was thinking he got paid off and all this other stuff. So a lot of people was thinking Tyler Perry. That's the first name that popped up in a lot of people's head, and that's the narrative people still going with. In the back of my mind, I'm still thinking it was Tyler Sophia Perry, but nevertheless, he ain't come out and say it. So there's that. But he did come out and say something else. So, Christian, as y'all know, the actor most notably for his various roles in Tyler Perry plays and movies over the years, is airing out his issues against his former boss. And this time he's not holding back about the alleged shady behavior Perry displayed when it came to the popular BET show All the Queen's Men. Now, if this vaguely rings a bell, then you may recall that he broached the topic in June of 2025 when he shared that Keys wouldn't be collaborating with BET or any spinoffs or sequels for the aforementioned show he created nearly 15 years ago. At the time, his reasoning stemmed from multiple instances of dismissive, disrespectful, and unprofessional behaviors he witnessed and even on and been on the receiving end of. Keys also explained that his creative by credit was removed from the show back in season 2, and that he had to rope in the Writers Guild of America union to get the studio to give it back to him. Well, here's the thing. We already know Tyler Perry hates unions. So, and that's one of the reasons why I don't like his ass either, because I'm very pro-union. I am a part of a union. A lot of actors are part of a union. A lot of writers are part of a union. Directors are part of a union. And to me, I don't understand somebody who came from nothing, dirt poor. And the reason why I call him Tyler Sophia Perry, because allegedly, well, not even alleged, but a lot of people say, and I even think she said it herself, Miss Sophia said that he basically just took Miss Sophia and brought that into Madea. So there's some people that believe that, and even I believe Miss Sophia said it herself. So, yeah, he said he had to get the Writers Guild of America to get the studio to give it back to him. While he didn't call out Perry specifically, he made it clear that his decision to cut ties with BET for a spinoff was also due in part to certain people acting entitled, arrogant, and unprofessional. Now, fast forward to the top of 2026, and it seems like Keys is ready to name Perry explicitly, as evidenced by a recent Instagram live session on Monday. During that session, Keys specified that it was Tyler Perry Studios that tried to steal his credit and that he was glad he wouldn't be dealing with the studio anymore, and called Perry and his business dealings shady and corny. Well, I definitely agree with that, because Tyler Perry's productions are corny. First of all, it always looks like, even though he got to be the wealthiest man in the world, them shows be put together with $2 in a paperclip. It gives very much Chitlin Circuit tease with the dialogue and them horrible ass Timu wigs. The acting is questionable at best. And you think because you would get like a Cicely Tyson, may she rest in peace, a Whoopi Goldberg, or a Taraji P. Henson in your shit, it makes it valuable. And or valid. And in some ways it probably does. But Tyler, you're not that talented. Like, I'm glad that you was able to accumulate something of what you did. Like, you took something and from nothing and made it into an empire. But my thing is this: if I was in a position of a Tyler Perry where I've built this empire, I wouldn't want to be selfish and act like that. Yeah, I produce, I write, I do the lighting and the shots and all of that. I'm doing everything by myself and don't want to usher in other talent. Because remember, he said that he wouldn't bring in other writers because they don't get his style of writing, whatever. It's not rocket science what you're doing. There's so many people out here that's copying that whole Tyler Perry style of what he does in regards of the type of shows and things that he does, and they do it 10 times better than him. And I believe it comes from a place of insecurity that if he does bring in some actual writers who are in the Writers Guild and have an actual talent and went to, I mean, I don't think you necessarily have to have gone to school to learn how to write. Some people just have that gift and is able to just write something and have to go through all those proper channels. But if you have the talent, and if somebody is able to accumulate and bring in those ideas, whatever idea, big or small, if it even is better than the idea that I have, I'm all for collaboration, because I know what I bring to the table at the end of the day. And I feel like it would elevate what I'm creating. But Tyler is one of those people that I just feel like is deeply insecure and wants to just have everything for himself, including allegedly stealing other people's ideas and making it his own. But speaking of that, I do have a clip of Christian talking about Pastor Perry, or Tyler Sophia Perry, courtesy of the Neighborhood Talk. We're going to play that clip and then we will come back and talk. Please hold.
Is when all the Queens men got weird and dudes start getting raped with dildos and all that weird shit. I'm not mad about not being there no more. Because, I mean, the studio tried to steal my Created by Credit. So, like, they posted, even this week, you know, end of the year, la-da-da-da-da, and you post my show like that's y'all show. It's you putting the show out there, but you're also the same studio, Tyler Perry Studios, that removed my Created by Credit, and I had to call the union to have them force TPS to put it back on there. So I'm not sad that my show isn't there anymore. After season 5, it won't be there anymore. And I won't have to deal with that shady, corny kind of leadership over there that would dare. Why try to? You got 16, 17 shows. I got 1. Let me have credit. My contract says I get credit. Why your corny ass trying to steal my credit? Because you can't write like me. Season 3.
And here's what it is. The fact that when somebody has way more talent than that person, it's like, oh no, I want to come in and take your stuff and make it my own. And my thing is this, is like, yeah, you got your 50 other shows that you do, which is pretty much the same goddamn thing you speak about over and over. You know what they say about insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And you ain't never gonna get evolution or a different result from a Tyler Perry production. So when you got somebody else coming in with an interesting idea, what is about this madam that's running a male strip club, that sounds relatively interesting. That sounds relatively entertaining. It's literally the black equivalent of Magic Mike. So we want to see stuff like that. Me personally, I haven't seen the show, anything associated with Tyler Perry, and I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I've never watched a Tyler Perry production or a show or whatever. I used to watch this stuff back in the day. I thought Diary of a Mad Black Woman was good. I liked what's that movie where they was doing the bidding allegedly? Why Did I Get Married? I watched that and I thought it was cute. But then when I started noticing over the years that it was the same storyline, it was the same tropes, it was the same BS over and over and over again, I was like, I'm good. Like I like different variety of things. I actually like stuff that's driven by, actual character development, a good storyline, not no rush stuff where it's like you pan into Janet Jackson feet walking into a room, and then all of a sudden in the same scene, she wearing a new pair of shoes. It's like, what? You got to pay attention to all them details when it comes to stuff. But what's the people saying in the comments? So one person said, it's because you subliminally outed him. Duh. Another person said all the Tyler Perry shows are now weird. It's gay porn mostly. Well, from what some of the clips, and I'm not gonna hold you. I've seen some clips of the show online where people have sent me some stuff in regards to the stripper stuff, and some of the stuff I'm like, Tyler, this what you doing? And now you got characters rocking dildos and stuff up in there. I'm like, wait a minute. Now, if you're supposed to be heterosexual, right? And this is a show that you're supposed to be developing and doing this. Why are you talking about dildos and sexually assaulting them with men with toys in their butt and all this? Like, why is this coming up from your brain and you putting it into the show? It's kind of got me side-eyeing you a little bit. This what you be doing in the privacy of your own bedroom, sir? So, because I can't see you actually getting off of some actual coochie, even though I know you got a kid. So they said Christian Keys has been consistently working with Tyler Perry since his live plays, and that was 20 years ago. I believe everything Christian has to say. Finally, a girl up in here that's reasonable with this, because I'm sick and tired of every time I turn around when somebody come out and say something against somebody powerful. It's a money grab. It's a money grab. I'm like, what are you, a fucking puppet? You know those little toys that you pull the string in the back and y'all just be repetitive with the same. That's what it gives when I be seeing some of y'all online. I even had somebody in my comments the other day when this whole Donnie McClurkin story, it wasn't even another day, it was yesterday, with the Donnie McClurkin story. I saw somebody say, hey, it's a money grab. And then literally somebody in the comments was like, there's an actual email where he admitted, so allegedly. And then all this evidence and stuff coming out. And he gagged. I'm like, so you didn't even read the article. This is what people do. Y'all see headlines, y'all see a name, and before y'all even take a minute out of your day to just read the details, or maybe 4 or 5 minutes, I'll say, because when some articles got to get detailed, and it ain't gonna be a minute that you get through it. The first thing out your mouths is that it's a money grab. Everything about no fucking money. But then again, pay me for my pain, because after all of this, who says I'm ever gonna get a job in Hollywood? They be blackballing people. Have you seen Rose McGowan or anything ever since she filed her suit and won against Harvey Weinstein? Another person, everybody ain't lying on Tyler. Thank you. Another person, I don't know, Tyler, everybody can't be lying on you. Another person, Monique said all of this about TP and y'all told her to be quiet. Absolutely. Because they didn't want to hear from a black woman. They want to see it, they want to hear from a pretty ass light bright. And I don't mean to make it about color, but a lot of times that's what it is. Y'all don't want to hear from a dark-skinned black woman. Y'all always want them to hush and be quiet. But somebody pretty, like Christian, come out and say something. Oh, y'all eyes and ears is all open now. Well, one person did say something that I was like, you want to know something? I did think this earlier. One comment said his hush money must have run out. That's exactly what I was thinking before when I said, okay, so now the hush money must have ran out. That now Christian Key's getting on the line and spilling all of this mess. Another person, a blind man could see Tyler be writing out his own fantasies on that show. That's what I be saying too. A lot of times when I be seeing these little clowns, I say, okay, Tyler, I see you living out your little fantasy up in here. Now, if it was other writers and stuff that was involved in this whole world, I could blame it on them. But Tyler, when you try to put your name written, produced, I did the coloring of the walls, like I did the carpentry by. When you start putting everything in your name, you can't run from it. Not Tammy Roman jumping in the comments. She said, listen, when he slapped his leg at the end, he meant that. I love Christian. Sorry it's turning out like this. Great show. Well, look like she believed him. Armand Wiggins is up in the comments too. Said, okay, got it. So it was Tyler Perry he was talking about. Child, you just now waking up and realizing this? I mean, I love you, but how you just now, oh, so it was Tyler Perry. Of course, who else would he be talking about? We've been said that, like, who else in this industry? I mean, quiet as it's kept, I'm sure there's plenty of people in Tyler Perry's position that also got homosexual tendencies behind the scenes. But when you talk about stuff like this, and you look at all the breadcrumbs, what it all led up to, why you think Tyler Perry was the first name that popped up in even the most average of persons thought when that first story came out about the alleged SAing that went on under a powerful man in the business? Then somebody said, not gonna lie, when Tyler started writing and directing the show, it got hella weird and dumb. Another person said, and then we can get off of this. I'm gonna read two more. One person said it definitely some dark-ish with Tyler. You don't get all the fame and fortune without doing anything bad behind closed doors. Another person said, I was watching Beauty in Black, and I still believe that Horace is based off of Tyler Perry. But not to be funny, something must be up. Christian has been with TP since the plays. So y'all pretty much got the gist of all of this other stuff. And look, as what Christian was saying, I know he was trying to be vague before because he was probably just giving out a vague warning, like, sir, if you don't pay me what you owe me, I'm gonna start spilling your business about you being my alleged abuser with that first allegation. Now he coming out here saying that you done stole his damn show from him, which I am not surprised by. That Tyler Sophia Perry will be pulling these little stunts out here with that. And look, I don't put nothing past these people in power. So, Christian, you speak on what you need to speak on, and hopefully you'll be able to develop other projects and get them put out there. But this is unfortunate, and this is just crazy to me. But at the end of the day, not that surprising that Tyler Perry would be up here doing some old shady mess like this. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Christian Keys? Do you believe what his allegations against Tyler? Excuse me, Sophia Perry. Do you believe the tea that he was just feeling just now regarding him and the dildo R wording storyline and all the weird stuff that he's starting to put in the show? I guess for shock value, but what does it have to do with the type of story that you're trying to tell? Or is this that you putting these little things in there because A, it's fulfilling some weird ass fantasies you got in your mind, and B, it's a way for you to go viral, which pedestrian ass writing that you be doing on these freaking shows. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hold on, because I just saw McStroking. um, Sailor Mermaid says, "I miss XL. Which one? Because I don't think you was old enough to go to the first one. You might be talking about the out." And he said, "Yeah, it costs $50 minimum to get at least three. Not in New York. You had to spend 100 to get a decent buzz. That's why I think a lot of people pregame. A lot of people pregame at this point. But that's what I do now. Like I'll have a couple of shots of whiskey before I get to the club, and then I'll buy like one drink. McStroking, not McSlurping." Lanier says, Tyler Perry is telling on himself. I learned from unionizing at my former workplace that any business owner that hates union hates them because they don't want to be. Exactly. And he doesn't, he is very anti-union. I remember hearing those stories for years. He even came at the actor Seek Black, really, saying that was drunk and high on the set. No, please. Meanwhile, you the one that be the main one that allegedly be unprofessional. Isn't that the stripper? But if anybody knows how Sheik Black acted the same exact way on Vivica Fox reality show, oh yeah, I remember that show. Wait, wasn't one of the strippers on that show also who Portia Williams, who now is a half a bulldagger now because she got a butch lesbian girlfriend? Wasn't there what's his name? The stripper that was on that allegedly got slurped down by Portia Williams and allegedly Phaedra. And you said Miss Fox said he was arrogant and all about himself and had to go. I wonder if I think it meant Gavin Newsom or Rome Flynn. Oh, wait, who's Gavin Houston? You said, I wonder if Gavin Houston or Rome Flynn were ever. Oh, you talking? Oh, okay. You said they on the have and the have nots. Also, Tyler Perry was the one who paid for Sheik wedding. Was that the one that I recently just saw them pictures of Tyler Perry at those two? Child. He's a good looking man though. But yeah, I do believe it. Oh yeah, it was Bolo. But it was like, yeah, I do believe that was a beard because I'm looking at him like that's a pretty man. Ain't no way he like this vagina. Shame on TP for putting something that depraved into the show. Yeah, I don't understand what was the point of the dildos. Look, people use dildos in their own private time, but what was the purpose of you putting that up in the episode? You supposed to be a man of the cloth, Pastor Perry. And you up in here putting dildos on the show. Or how Nene said, dildo. You know, she can't say dildo. So dildo. When she was saying that on the Housewives of Atlanta, I could not stop cackling. All right, so now let's go from cackling at one person to about this damn clown. And that is Michael Zionist Rapaport, who decided to try to jump in politics. Well, first of all, he's from New York, so I understand if he wants to say anything political and all this other mess, he has a right to do so. But now he told me he want to run for mayor in 2029, and I know currently he is on that show, The Traitors. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I do want to get around to watching it. And shout out to Boston Rob and Bob the Drag Queen because they are doing a after show podcast together regarding the show. So, and I think that's a really good match in regards to them. But anyway, so yeah, Michael Rapaport, who thought he was so clever about coming up with the title Zohran the Moron, is now saying that he is planning on running for mayor because he doesn't like Zohran Mamdani. Good luck, because like Curtis Sliwa, you having a rat's chance of hell of even becoming mayor of New York. So spend all your reality TV, watch what happens live, guest appearance money, all you want. I don't know if you get paid for it, he probably does. But for the watch what happens live stuff. But because and then we need Kenya Moore to come and cuss his ass out again. But yeah, it's just like you're not going to win because nobody's going to take your idiot behind serious. So Michael Rapaport's opposition to New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has become so total that he's decided to run to replace him. The mass, not I know he was not on no damn Mass Singer. They from the Mass Singer star. Shout out to Entertainment Weekly for the story, by the way. Welcome, listeners, to the latest episode of his I Am Rapaport podcast on Monday by rattling off. Welcome to the Ziggy Zone of Disruption. My name is Michael Rapaport, aka Mayor Rapaport, aka Mayor. What? AKA, why would you write AKA Mayor Rapaport twice? Or Mr. Mayor? Rapaport, aka the Gringo Mandingo. Child, you wish your dick was big. To my some goddamn Gringo Mandingo, aka the inflamed Ashkenaz. What? Okay, you got a bunch of fucking names. And call him the Sultan of Sniff. Well, did you do some of that sniffing before you got on the live or your little podcast? Because you must be on that powder based on you come up with these stupid ass names. Now, for the following hour, he continued obliquely to refer to himself as Mayor Rapaport until the final few minutes where he made his big announcement, saying, "Let me tell you something, guys, girls, women, children of all ages. 2025 was crazy, and I don't see it getting any effing calmer or cooler in 2026. The way things started, that's why I'm running for mayor." Well, shouldn't you have done that back when Zohran was running up against Curtis Sliwa and Cuomo? But I guess it was just too much going on. Nobody was going to take your dumb ass seriously. They would have laughed you out the room. Just like I'm sure when you made this announcement, they laughed you out the room for that. Now, Rapaport noted that he actually announced my proposal previously. Indeed, a post shared to his Instagram on Thursday bore the caption, "Born, raised NYC, nothing's free, no BS, no fake grins. I'll own my mistakes, apologize when I screw up." Well, that's a goddamn lie, because there's been many of things that you've come out here and made, which is pretty much a lot of Zionist talking points that you've been spewing and a lot of anti Muslim stuff that you have said towards Zohran. So for you to sit up here and say that you apologize when you screw up and own up to your mistakes, no, you haven't. You haven't done it. So what are you talking about, Willis? And he said he's going to fight to make this city safe, affordable, and thriving. Well, we got affordable and thriving. That is basically what Zohran is currently working on, because that's what he ran on. But you talking about making the city safe, you saying a bunch of nothing. I need examples, sir. And then, of course, he's about you got Zohran the moron now. Mayor Rapaport is coming. The actor has been one of the newly elected Mayor Zohran Mamdani's most vocal and crudest critics since he emerged as a Democratic frontrunner last summer. Rapaport frequently dedicated time on his podcast, many social media posts, and gave interviews on right-wing news channels in which he trashed the 34-year-old politician, often citing his criticism of Israel and Muslim identity as points of contention, which, of course, he's making these. He's just a racist. And this is why I can't believe that some of you Negroes had the unlitigated gall to invite this clown ass palm person to the cookout. Had we revoked his invitation? Because just because he did High Learning and a couple other black centric movies, y'all gave him all this accolades like he was a part of it. And yeah, I understand, because you was a Jewish kid from Brooklyn and all this other stuff. That definitely tracks in a lot of situations. I'm not saying all Jews are like that, because I got a lot of young Jewish friends too. So who are very much not Zionists and very pro-Israel with all that other stuff. But if you don't like the way that shit is going down in New York City, sir, you could pack your shit up and leave. You could take your behind and go to LA or go to Israel, if that's what you all cooking for. And that's the thing that's been irritating me about all these politics and stuff, is that they keep asking, well, what are you going to do about Israel and all this stuff? I'm like, Israel's not a part of the United States. Yeah, y'all are trying to indoctrinate and infiltrate a lot of our politics, but Israel's not a part of the United States. Zohran's thing is worrying about what to do regarding the Jewish people of New York City. I also hope that you're not just going to only worry about Jews in New York, because last time I checked, they're not the only demographic that lives here. What you going to do about the protection of Asian people, of Hispanics, meaning Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Ecuadorians, Colombians, El Salvadorians, and they live all over. There's a lot of the mixture, Colombians, Ecuadorians, that sort of thing, that lives in Queens. Then you have a lot of the Puerto Ricans, Dominicans that live in the Bronx and Harlem and that sort of thing. So you got to focus on all. I don't need you to just only focus on the Jewish community, because they're not the only people that make up New York. It's a melting pot. And that's why I'm hoping that, because you are this young, new person who they always want, the first Muslim mayor, and also, they always want to put that in the headline. Like that's not, he's more than just that. And I love the fact that a lot of y'all was seething over the fact that, yeah, he was sworn in with the Quran. Because if it was, somebody that came in that was a Jewish man was sworn in with the Torah, y'all would not have this type of energy. Or when a Catholic person comes in and is sworn in with a Bible, y'all don't have that same. Y'all don't. That's not the only. Y'all don't only just focus on that. But when it's somebody else, that's like a Zohran, then all of a sudden y'all want to come in with these Islamophobic talking points. And that's literally what this idiot over on the right continues to do. I just wish there was somebody out here that was willing to call him out on his bullshit besides me. So he also took a similar approach on Monday's edition of his podcast, saying, "We have a ish stain at the helm right now." Oh, you mean the shit that stain that's talking? Because one of the things I would never want to be in the close proximity of Michael Rapaport, because he spits when he talks. He's kind of like those velociraptors in Jurassic Park. Like, they spit in your face or whatever and they paralyze you before they eat you. That's what it gives when he is like, I might have to wear a whole visor with a shield on my face if I'm going to come in close proximity to his ass. So he's talking about he got an itch stain right now. And mind you, he's only been mayor for 6 days, but apparently he's a shit stain running the country or running New York City. Mind you, where was all this energy when we had that damn corrupt ass politician that we just kicked the fuck out of office, Mayor Eric Adams? Where was the energy for that? Now, if he has spoken out about some stuff, I don't know. I don't listen to his tight ass podcast. He doesn't interest me. I think he's an idiot. So if he has mentioned things about him, let me know in the comments. I don't think he has. But if you're going to come out here and make these accusations, you need to have that same energy for the other people that was in office too. You don't even know Zohran, and you're just making all these allegations. Zohran will eat your ass up, and you can't take him because you're an idiot. And then he says, it's an effing reality. I think it's going to supersede our wildest fears and expectations. Zohran the zero, Zohran the xyophobe. He's going to supersede all our fears and expectations. So he's out here with the fear mongering. And that's why I said, if you don't like it, pack your shit and leave. Isn't that what y'all always say when it's somebody in office that we like and y'all don't? If you don't like it, pack your shit and leave New York. We don't want your ugly ass here any damn way. Then he says, people are like, it's upcoming. It's in 2029. You got to prepare now. What would Kobe do? Well, I don't know what Kobe would do. Kobe's dead. And there's no shade to Kobe. But if you're going to actually bring up somebody current. Bring up somebody who's actually, out here doing some shit. Mention LeBron or something. You talk about fucking Kobe. You're literally showing your age with this comment. If Kobe was running for mayor of New York City, what would he do? He'd be preparing right now. He'd be waking up at 4:30 in the morning. Did I wake up at 4:30 this morning? F no. Rapaport continued, but we are preparing. How you preparing? If you're gonna make an analogy that you woke he wakes up at 4:30 in the morning. That means you're not taking this shit seriously. You're using this for attention. You're using this to jump on social media to get us all riled up. Not all, because I'm just going to say what I want to say regardless. But you just want to come online, say stuff, get people all riled up. Excuse me, when the majority have spoken. It was time for a regime change. If politicians was out here, Republican or Democrat, was doing what needed to be done, we wouldn't have to go to the point of, you know what, we need somebody who's a democratic socialist who's going to come in and give, work on getting better health care for New Yorkers and free buses. I don't know how he's going to make that work, but he's going to work on it. And also, free child health, child care and and working on bettering the educational system in New York. So all the things that he said he's going to be working on, I'm going to give him the 4 years that he needs to do what he needs to do. I'm always open for trying new things. You can't, as I've said many times, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And for far too long, people have voted for the very same thing, part of the establishment, and the establishment doesn't change. So sometimes you got to get something new, fresh, and whatever in there. Isn't that what y'all thought y'all was getting with Trump? And you already see what's happening now. Thinking that man was anti-establishment. The man is the epitome of establishment, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. So you can't be somebody who's against the establishment when you were born into the establishment and you love being a part of the establishment, but he fed y'all the lie and people fell for it. And now slowly but surely, you got some of the maggots that are realizing they were scammed, they were con. But sometimes it takes them hitting the rock bottom for someone to wake up. And I don't think there's any change in Michael's opinion, and that's fine. We don't need to. But the thing is that you don't have a rat's chance in hell to become mayor. You lack what a lot of the generation likes now, charisma. There's nothing charismatic about you. You're a fucking shit stain. You're annoying. You have the nerve to talk about Zohran being a shit stain. I feel like that sounds like projecting to me. So he says, do I think people are going to be getting chased around New York City with pitchforks? No, but he is softening the palate for so many effing things. He's got a huge fucking ego. He's got a fucking ego. Wait, a fucking evil fucking grin? What? You think about just throwing the F word about 4 or 5 times in a sentence that makes you sound smart? I curse a lot on this show. But what evidence do you have? Oh, he's got this evil grin. I'm like, what are you talking about? At least he can smile because unlike you, he has lips. So I don't understand the whole, oh, he's got this evil smirk, this effing grin. I'm like, what are you talking about? You sound like a hater. That's what this literally sounds like. It sounds like the man that's aging like rotten ass milk, expired milk, is mad because he doesn't have the charisma of a Zohran. He's not as attractive as Zohran. He's not somebody who literally can walk into a room and own it like a Zohran or Nene Leaks. So you just sound like you coming from a place of jealousy and hate. And all I got to say about that, sir, is stay mad. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Michael Rapaport, you were just a goddamn clown. Just go play in traffic, please, because you sound like the fool. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was like, where am I? Not Zoran, not Rapaport has been on crack since higher learning. He said, will there be others coming? I would not be surprised. Look, when there's one, there's more. Well, if you're in Israel, you can stay your ass there because that's not gonna happen. Israel first. Fuck out of here with that. Um, Zohran Mamdani is putting New York and America first. It doesn't need Israel. Absolutely. Well, I wish it was America only, but it seems like our country is more fixated on indoctrinating other places instead of worrying about trying to make America great as part of the moniker. When is America going to get great? You busy worried about trying to invade Argentina for their oil. So at what point we going to get great? When is food going to be affordable? When are people going to actually get affordable health care? When are people, because people premiums just went up. I started hearing like people's premiums started doubling as of what, the first or the second? Yeah, I think it was the first because the first was a weekday, right? So people's premiums went, everything's going up except the wage. So there's nothing. America last is literally what it's become. Okay, whatever the New Testament is. It is honest for everyone in New York. Jews are not the only one he is for. You have other minorities. Absolutely. And that's what I always feel like is the most important thing. Is that Jewish people, yes, they're a major part of the people that live in New York, but at the same time, they're not the only demographic that lives here. So if you're going to be a mayor, you need to be a mayor for every demographic in New York, every ethnicity in New York, every generation of New York, not just Jewish people. And the thing that irritates me is because the media is run by Zionists. And you can't even say that, once upon a time, it used to be blasphemous. And I think still is to say, well, the Jews are running everything. Well, the way that you see that the Ellisons and so many people are sitting there buying up our media conglomerates, it's hard to feel like, well, you're just being anti-Semitic. I'm not being anti-Semitic. I'm looking at the tea leaves. I'm seeing these people that are buying up all these companies to control the media, and who's at the helm of it? A bunch of Zionists, a bunch of pro-Israel, you know, uh, Muslim situations like what's going on in Palestine. So I'm not saying things that way it's coming out. I'm just sitting here literally showing you the facts and presenting it. I do that Diddy Mamdani. Well, look, at least if he is using baby oils to prevent himself from being ashy, because yeah, light skin, dark skin, we get ashy. He really is. It's a sad thing. I agree with him sometimes. About what? He said, oh yeah, Eric Adams moronic behind. Well, yeah, he hasn't had a good acting role. Look, but he's on that show. He's on that. What was it? The Traitors. Well, I got that, but it was just my thing of just cussing him out. Why would not well what would Patrick Ewing do? Well, working at MSG, I do see him all the time, so that would be a good question. I've been to New York. That place is a dump. Oh, is it? And where are you from? So we could talk shit about where you live. Not sure Mamdani is the answer, but we won't know until we see what he does policy wise. Okay, well. Does he? Because I haven't heard him mention anything about race. Okay, well, you're saying United States is going into a bad direction, voting Muslims into office. That sounds very much like an Islamophobic comment. Uh, Repubs didn't have anyone worth running. Well, yeah, well, even when you had, who can't speak correct English? First of all, your mama. I'd definitely love to hear what you sound like, you dumb fuck. Somebody I can't speak correct English. It might be. Well, they probably all read the New York Post or Page Six, which is basically like, what did my friend describe it as? Oh, Mein Kampf mixed with the National Enquirer. That is what a friend of mine actually referred to the New York Post. I was like, you know what? You are spot on. Because that's literally what it is. The Muslim is a what? No, they don't. First of all, there's more Republican conservative leaning publications than there are liberal. And there's more Republican and conservative people that because that's where all the money and the grift is. So they have way more power than the liberal meaning ones. I just think that a lot of people feel because you see all these other things that that's what it is, but that's not true. It's the same about that the media support mostly the Democrats. No, first of all, that's always the case when it comes to people of color. Um, People of color, regardless of the situation, are not allowed to fuck up, make a mistake, whatever the case is. You see it in the music industry, you see it in the film industry, you see it in politics. It's like you literally have to clean up the mess in 24 hours, otherwise you're a failure. And that's the way they always look at it. But white people get to um fuck up all the time. They get to make multitude of mistakes, they get to have a multitude of flops and all is forgiven. So a lot of it is deeply rooted in racism. But when you point it out, then you're jumping on a racist troll. Well, it's like okay, if just because a lot of y'all about as deep as a damn pond, don't necessarily mean that a lot people like myself have to be thinking in that way as well. I might have a field day blocking a lot of you retards up in here. Who else got something to say? Anyway, let's move on because I'm sure there's gonna be more incels coming over here with their bullshit ass comments. And let's talk about Drake and that other Zionist racist asshole that likes to jump on black stuff and talk stuff about black people, Adin Ross. Because apparently we got these two other Zionists coming up with their mess. Wait, why are you saying Plaza? Why would you say don't block me? Anyway, so Drake and Adin Ross are being caught up in some mess, and I'm not surprised by it. Because it's funny how he was so quick to point the finger at Kendrick Lamar and all this other stuff and Universal Music Group, right? Yeah, it was UMG. And basically say like, oh, they were doing this other stuff to help his sales and streams and all the other mess. But you was doing the same thing, using alleged gambling money that you were making to cook the books over there so that way you can have success with your streams. So according to The Guardian, They said Drake and American online live streamer Adin Ross have been accused in a civil case of using online casino money to pay for automated streams in a bid to artificially inflate the singer's royalties and popularity on music streaming platforms. No one has been charged criminally with regard to the allegations in the lawsuit. Global e-casino Stake has dismissed the claims as nonsense and said it was not concerned about the lawsuit. Two women in the U.S. state Virginia have filed a case, a class action seeking US $5 million from ecasinostake.com, the celebrities and other Australian internet personality, for alleged breaches of racketeer influence and corrupt organizations, which basically is RICO for short, and consumer protection laws. Now, Stake.com, a Caraco, I think it's called, licensed global e-casino, is officially banned in dozens of countries, including the US, Australia, and the UK. Its America arm, Stake.us, does not allow users to gamble directly with real money. Wagerers play with e-tokens. Some are provided for free, while others can be purchased and withdrawn as cryptocurrency. The class action filed on Wednesday alleged Stake.us's anonymized design enabled Drake to fund purchases of automated streams, artificially inflating its royalties and popularity on music streaming platforms, including Spotify. Court documents allege Drake and Ross hid the financing from public view by transferring gambling winnings via Stake's anonymized tip system to an Australian man named in court documents as George Nguyen, who allegedly operates the online accounts Grand Wizard Chat N-Word and Grand Davius. What? So we got an Asian dude running an account Grand Wizard Chat Nigga and Grand Davius. Well, the Grand Davius part is not the insulting part. Grand Wizard Chat Nigga. Grand Wizard, isn't that some white supremacy type thing that they call one of those people that wear the hoods and shit? And chat N-word? This is why I think people be looking at Drake sideways, because here's this colonizer who is literally like the McDonald's of hip hop. And yeah, just because he got a couple of bops does not mean he's not going to get clowned. And people don't take him seriously over this whole situation, using the N-word incorrectly. First of all, you have no connection to the Black culture of America when you're Canadian. So that's another thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way with him infiltrating hip hop culture in America when you're an immigrant, and then using a lot of our stuff to benefit from that financially. And then you bring Adin Ross in this situation, who has made many derogatory comments towards Black women and Black people, and has said some racist things and admitted that he's made racist comments in past streams. And here y'all go sending money to this thing with this Asian guy's running and calling it some Grand Wizard Chat N-word stuff. It's like the clownation of it all. Now, a state spokesperson said on Monday's U.S. time, for the record, Stake.us does not have a tipping function that could be used in this way. This is a nonsense claim, and we are not concerned about the lawsuit. Nguyen, who has posted promoting Drake and the gambling platform, allegedly traded between the Stake proceeds, cash and cryptocurrency, to pay bot vendors for artificial music streams on behalf of Drake and Ross. The lawsuit alleges Drake transferred millions of dollars as part of the scheme, including in the form of $100,000 to $10,000 of tips to Ross. The lawsuit also alleges public posts, chat logs, and leaked communications prove Nguyen's role. The class action claims the scheme dates back to 2022 and remains an ongoing and imminent threat of racketeering activity. Drake, Ross, and Nguyen were contacted for comment. Now, the suit also alleges Drake, that said Stake with Drake and Ross deliberately misled consumers to believe the platform was legal and harmless. The lead plaintiffs, Tiffany Hines and LaShawna Ridley, alleged they suffered serious harm after Drake's promotions encouraged them to gamble on Stake. The platform had financially harmed users by encouraging them to gamble illegally and leave them vulnerable to addiction, the class action claimed. Well, here's the thing. When it comes to gambling, it is an addiction. And I don't think it has even anything to do with necessarily online, because you say, oh, it led to addiction. I'm like, gambling is an addiction. There's Gambling Anonymous, isn't there? And before there was even gambling online, people that went down to the casino and gambled, yeah, they got an addiction. Don't they be saying that about Kim Zolciak? That she got a gambling problem? And I don't think I wouldn't be surprised if she does do online gambling, whatever. But with her being the age that she is, 46, 47, she's gambled on in person or online. She comes from the era of gambling in person before online became online. But to me, reading all of this, I'm like, you had the unlitigated gall to point the finger at Kendrick Lamar and UMG and say all that mess about them, about how they was using this that Not Like Us song to fatten up his streams and help him make money and all that stuff. But I'm like, sir, you doing the same thing. How you out here using this slate.com situation as a way to use the money towards streaming or blowing up more streams of your music? Then it wasn't there a thing at one point where Spotify, like, even if you're not a fan of Drake, they went and they created all these little categories where they bombarded y'all with his album. I think it was the Scorpion record, where they bombarded the whole website with his music and put it in every category. So it's like you were so emboldened by seeing this. It was like, God damn, okay, let me just check and see what the goddamn music is about. That's what they were hoping with all of that. It's like, if you're a fan of the person, be a fan of the person. But the fact that you got to pull all these payola things and stunts and shows and schemes and scams and all this other mess just so that way you can get any kind of remote attention or to blow up your music, which payola's always been around. And the way that they do these things with the labels will sit and pump a lot of money into this whatever A-list artist they have to get y'all to go and listen to the music and the concerts and buy the merch and all that stuff. So then it says since 2022, Drake has promoted his stake on Instagram and on Kick, the EasyGo-owned live streaming platform, including a post in June revealing he had gambled 124.5 million and lost 8.2 billion in a month. Because they was also saying that he would go to basketball games and be out there gambling too. And people used to hate when he would show up at a basketball game, because they felt like he was a walking jinx. Like every time that he would show up at a game, it was going to be bad luck and the team was going to lose. So they said, gotta share the other side of gambling. Losses are so fried right now. He captioned the story post. I hope I can post a big win for you all soon. The rapper in December promoted hours-long live streams on Kick with a post caption, can we end my roughest gambling year on a good note? I want to max win and share 10% of it with you. Go to stake to find out how you can enter and win that pot. Lawsuit alleges Stake had paid Drake $100 million a year and provided free gambling credit to the rapper and Ross. Now, Ross, a 25-year-old internet personality and Zionist and professional live streamer and someone who runs to the police whenever somebody tries to threaten his ass, moved to a rival e-casino, Rainbet. Never heard of that. They said he moved to rival e-casino Rainbet and quit Stake in 2025, telling viewers he would continue streaming on Kick due to his friendship with its 30-year-old founder, Ed Craven. Craven, hailed by Forbes as Australia's youngest billionaire with an estimated $2.8 billion fortune. And they said, I guess in Australia it's $4.2 billion. Co-founded Kick in Melbourne in 2022 with Bijan Tarani, after their success with Stake. The platform drew regulatory attention in August after hosting a live stream during which a man died in France. Oh yeah, I saw that one too. There was this guy that was, I think he might have been on the spectrum or whatever the case was, and he died in France. He was on his live stream. He wanted to stop like making him do crazy stuff, and they was forcing him to do all this stuff online. I think even his mother got involved and she got concerned, and he ended up dying. I remember seeing that video online, but yeah, I'm not surprised by any of this. That we already know for many years that we've heard the stories about Drake having an alleged gambling problem, and now you have this situation where you out here cooking the books, doing all the crazy stuff to help your music. So to me, I was like, you were literally the Donald Trump of hip hop. Like you was out here pointing a finger at UMG and Kendrick, but at the end of the day, like that one finger that was pointing at him and Universal Music, the other four was pointing at yourself because you was doing shadiness behind the scenes in regards of trying to pump your music out there, because you can't expect it to just authentically work and have the fans love it just because you're Drake. you got to pull stunts and shows in order to make your music go viral. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I'm sure there'll be more in this story as it develops. I say, look, take it to court if y'all have the evidence or the wherewithal that he was out here doing these other things, and these girls saying that they suffered because of them jumping on this whole gambling website. So if y'all got the evidence, basically present it before a judge, and we'll see where the chips will fall when it falls. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Say, don't block me. Like I said, most foreigners does not care about our struggle in America. Their agenda is for them and piggyback on our. I guess that was supposed to be funny. And you said, when is Nikki? Okay. Um, Oh, they get. He said, "Oh, they get locked." Well, they said, "I hope they get locked up." Could that lead to money laundering? Yeah, I believe that does definitely sound like some money laundering was going on in that situation. They got to prove all of that. Was there any kind of money laundering going? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if these days this is how a lot of these billionaires get their billions. A lot of money laundering, a lot of criminal scheme. And you know what? Under this current administration, all these billionaires kind of like flock together with a lot of stuff, so they'll be protected. All right, y'all. So now we down to our final four topics. So before we get to our final four, I mean, I may have to merge the whole Cardi B thing together. So technically, it might be three, but I'll try to find a way to transition into the other one. So before we get to our final couple of topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Wait, I was like, wait a minute. I know I had this open for a reason. Stuff starts closing up. Hold on. Okay, it did pause. And then I gotta make sure I have all of my videos and everything at the ready. Okay, we're good. All right, so now without further ado, let's get into this Cardi B tea. So apparently there's a story that was floating around, and I even saw somebody post this on social media and asking like, what are their thoughts on it? Because there was a story that was going around that Cardi B's father is a convicted S offender and that sort of thing. And I was sitting there like, okay. So I ain't heard no story about that. I think that maybe there was a story that was floating around once upon a time about her father being an R worder or whatever the case. So I said, you must have got her that you getting y'all female rappers confused. Because we know about the other rapper whose husband and brother have been convicted of some things. But Cardi B's father? Mm-mm. And so Cardi B took to social media and had to go in and let have on people that was running out here making these accusations that she says is unequivocally false. So the story appears to have sprung from the Paradu X account called at Female Rap Live, which on Sunday shared an alleged tweet from X's AI assistant tool Grok. Cardi B's father, Carlos Almanzar, was convicted of attempted rape in 1993 per Nassau County records. The screenshotted tweet read, he served 5 years. The charge is real, not a fake accusation to smear Cardi. Check the court docs. Public record doesn't lie. Another Twitter user asked Grok to fact check the tweet. And hold on, because I do have I got the tweets here. So hold on, let me pull that up for y'all. Like, where is it? Okay. It's here. So I was like, why is it blurry? I gotta give it a second. So it said everyone's favorite go-to source of information, Grok claims Cardi B's father is a sex offender. Check the court docs, public record doesn't lie. And it says that Cardi B's father, Carlos Almanzar, was convicted of attempted R-word in 1993 per Nassau County records. He served 5 years. And then it said, hey, Grok, can you fact check this immediately? And then Grok goes and says, hold on. Based on my review of public records, news sources, and past statements, I never claimed Cardi B's father is a sex offender. That screenshot is fabricated. Claims about Carlos Almanzar are unverified rumors denied by Cardi B with no matching court docs found. For official verification, check Nassau County records. So if you have Nassau County records stuff, there's no Nassau County records. Like I could have sworn, like, when we see people, and sometimes when I come in with a receipt or whatever the case is, a lot of times we'll bring up the records from the court or the police report or whatever the case is. But if there's no actual, you're asking artificial intelligence. First of all, this AI is getting crazy because yesterday, shout out to T.S. Madison, I was watching Fact Talk with her and Craig, and she was having a full-fledged conversation with Alexa. Alexa was giving sass. She was like, girl. I was like, wait, what? Like the terms that she was using was very much queer coded ballroom terms. And I'm like, because the damn Alexa be listening. And now a lot of these AIs, I believe, speak based on how your personality is picking it up and is using a lot of your lingo. And it would say, like, she would answer the question because, well, I'm like, wait a minute now. Why are we having a full-on conversation with Alexa like this? And them two going back. So it was a cackle. And I was like, while it was funny, it was also scary. So I don't like this AI stuff. But it's just like, y'all be out here just making shit up. And because you don't like a certain artist, and then Grok was like, I didn't say that. But this is also the same Grok that Elon Musk went and had changed because he wanted to say he was more in shape than who did he say was more in shape? Or was it Gavin Newsom, whatever? It was like, or there was somebody he said he was in better shape than. And we looked at him and like, sir, you literally look like you are melting in real time. Like when you go out in the sun, you literally are literally gonna melt on the floor of that yacht. Cause that body was a mess. Like all them billions you got, you can't afford a personal trainer. So now Monday morning, Barty claps back on the tweet explaining that just because her dad has never been arrested in this country and because he immigrated from the U.S. from the Dominican Republic, he would be deported if he committed such a disgusting crime. She said, I don't know why y'all like playing these games just for you to be fake mad when I post who got those real mugshots, real evidence, and real cases of our word. Stop playing with me and my family and leave me the F alone for real before I start some ish today. Yeah, and then there was also another post. Hold on. Oh, this is the one that you saw that somebody also wrote hip hop pop flops not credible. Then another thing, I seen y'all trying to spread that ish all day yesterday. Like, y'all know I don't play about my family. Now, when I start suing people, then what? What type of deranged people like to play around with our word? I forgot the whole crew over there got a kink for that. Just effing weirdos. We talking about a certain rapper? Because I'm like, who are you talking about? Because when you say like at that end, I forgot a whole crew over there got a kick for that, just effing widows. But here's the thing: is like, who wastes their time just running on social media, just making up stuff about people and their family members and things of that nature? I just don't understand the whole meaning of you feeling like, oh yeah, I got to come over here and I just got to make stuff up because I want a moment of attention or whatever on social media. Anybody got time for that? Well, I guess they do. That's why they say what they say. So I'm glad that Cardi B had to jump on the line and defend that somebody was up here spreading lies about her father. I'll give her that. What I won't give her credit for is the next story that we got to get into because I don't understand, like, with Tasha K up in here making a comment about Stefon Diggs, which he is currently trending in the news because of the stuff that he allegedly did to the private chef. Correspondence, yeah, y'all put stuff about here. We got to talk about it. And I understand that there's some history there with Tasha K because Tasha and Cardi got beef. Tasha K said some stuff about Cardi B in the past. I don't think she still paid the money that she owe her because Cardi sued her and won the case. But she should have a right. I mean, I guess in her case, maybe she shouldn't be talking or whatever the case is because if you got a case with somebody and they done sued you and won and you owe them money, no, if I be talking about, there's other celebrities I guess I could be talking about. But the problem is with a lot of you black bloggers, you all put yourselves in a corner by only talking about a specific niche of topics. So when y'all can't sit and fluctuate and talk about a plethora of topics, I guess you kind of forced to have to talk about the whole Stefon thing. But the thing is, she didn't mention her. But then again, I will say this. There were people on social media that lumped Cardi into Stefon's mess. Then somebody else brought up something that Cardi allegedly went behind the scenes and intimidated the witness or whatever. Look, I don't know nothing about that. I don't know if she did it. They're going to have to prove that that is being part of the evidence if they decide to bring that in court. But my thing is, if your man is being accused of some things, I would mind my business and let him and his lawyers handle it. Just like I was saying before, with her going in on Tasha, you don't always have to address everything on social media. I wish this would be her 2026 resolution, which is like, can you please stop addressing every little thing that they say about you on social media? Because here's the thing, I understand you're a Libra and y'all emotional and all that other stuff, but what you got to realize is that once people can figure out your flaw, and they found a way to poke the bear and exploit that flaw, they're going to keep using that against you. And I feel like people know that if I say anything about Cardi online, I'm going to get a reaction. And she falls for it every time. It's like, sis, you got 4 kids. You just had a baby 2 months ago. Focus on that. You got a whole tour that you're about to kick off in a month. You should be rehearsing for that. You had a successful album that took you 800 years to put out. Focus on that. Why are you focusing on fighting people on social media every time somebody says something about you? I tell you to take the girl out the hood, ... You know the saying. Cardi still thinks she in the fucking Bronx. It's like, let all that mess go. But anyway, let's get into the the Tasha K stuff. So they say Cardi B has been going at Tasha K on social media after the blogger seemingly claimed she might be facing witness intimidation charges over a claim she contacted. Oh yeah, here's the thing I was talking about. She contacted an alleged victim of her boyfriend, Stefon Diggs. That's what I was referring to earlier. I was like, did I hear something about that? Yeah, that was it. Tasha initially made the allegation in a post on Twitter. Even though Tasha didn't mention Cardi by name, her move still prompted a rapper to hop on X Spaces, Twitter Spaces, and set the record straight. And this, of course, is like, sound like a case of a hit dog hollering. Because my thing is, if you weren't caught up in the situation, why are you addressing this on Spaces of all people with a bunch of goddamn strangers? All this money you accumulating from all these deals and everything you got, use your lawyers to handle this in a courtroom. Stop going on social media. Yes, it's good grist for our mill. Yes, it's good because I got something to talk about on here. But at the end of the day, let the attorneys, let the legal people handle what they handling. But anyway, so I have the clip of her going in on Tasha K. There's a couple of clips. Lord help me, because I'm hoping I'm going to be able to monetize this because you know Cardi in that damn mouth. So let's get into that clip, courtesy of the Neighborhood Talk, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
The fuck? You want to be in your fucking hospital bed owing me, bitch. I'm not playing. And if you think you're going to be looking for loopholes, harassing the people that I'm involved with, I got another shit coming for you, baby. If you think because you don't mention my fucking name, but you're going to be harassing the people that I be with, no, I got some shit for you. So be ready for that. You ugly ass bitch. If you think because you're not using my name, oh, that is so funny because me and my lawyer have been talking about that shit. Bitch, we got something real fucking hot for that ass. Go talk to your lawyer about it. I've been letting you breathe. I've been letting you breathe because shit been going real smooth for me. I'm not letting you bitches breathe no fucking more. That harassment that y'all be thinking that you're going to be getting away with, the fuck? You are not.
But that was it. I don't hear nothing else.
Be getting away with is not. Motherfuckers been fucking trying me.
Okay, I'm like, is that all that is? Because I'm like, I don't hear nothing else. But whatever. I guess y'all got the point. So then, of course, Tasha K had heard all of that and went on social media and she put out a little video and all this other stuff. And she basically accused, in so many words, without actually saying it, of Cardi being a colorist and saying, "Oh, you're saying I'm ugly because I'm black," and that's not what I took that from. And to me, I don't want to dismiss someone's feeling of that, but I do feel like, look, just because somebody is of Tasha, like, say, how do I put this? Because I'm not trying to come across as like a colorist or whatever either, but just because somebody calls you ugly does not necessarily mean she's saying you're an ugly black whatever. Now, if she would have said that, like, you ugly black bitch, like if she would have said all of that other stuff, then I'll say, okay, Cardi, now you being a colorist, now you being racist, which there are people of color in the community that do go in on lighter skinned girls, going on darker skinned girls. There's a whole, we ain't got time to sit up here and unpack all of that. But I don't think that's what she was getting at. She was basically calling Tasha ugly because Tasha do be doing things where it's like, yo, spirit is rotted or whatever the case is. I don't know. She just feel like she, and then people was like, oh, it's wild that you got a girl who's not that attractive calling another girl attractive, or she had all this work. Okay. And my thing is this, I'm not opposed to plastic surgery. If you feel that you got parts of yourself that you want to change, and you got the coins to change it, get you some new teeth, get you some new nose, pull that skin back, get all these little nips and tucks that you want to do to make yourself look like what you want to look like. Now, if you come off as on a victim that need to go on an episode of Botched, then that's your fault that you went to the wrong plastic surgeon and fucked your body and face up. You live and you learn. But if you have some parts of yourself that you want to change and make yourself look better or whatever the case is, then by all means do that. So Tasha said this. She said that she called herself 100% authentic, saying, my original face, my original hair and hairline, I will always stay like this. My original body, I love being black. I love being a dark-skinned black woman. I love having a big round nose. I love that it shines when I'm on camera. Probably from, maybe you got oily skin if you're talking about how it shines. But look, here's the thing. Cardi didn't say nothing like that. She called her an ugly bitch. That's all you said. And then all of a sudden, you take that, and now you say, I love being a dark-skinned black woman. I'm all about transparency with stuff. So unless she went specifically, since y'all like moving the goalposts and a lot of things, so and I'm not sitting up here giving Cardi credit. I said the stuff I need to say, but she need to get her ass off social media with a lot of things. You got all this money, all this success. You over here fighting with people on social media about any little thing they say about you, or these bums you be calling men. And I'm not saying bums because, just because you got money don't necessarily mean you don't have bum mentality or community dick type mentality, which is what she keeps going for. A lot of these community dick type dudes. And people think that money makes you a better person. No, money already elevates who you were when you were poor. That's all it does. There's some people that use it for good, and some people use it for evil. But the people are who they were from the beginning. It's just you're the same person, just elevated because of the money and the access that you have. So then, of course, Cardi came back online and basically said that her reading Tasha K had nothing to do with her skin color. So I have that clip. Let's play that one. Please hold.
Bitch. Don't be trying to use your skin color. When somebody said that you're ugly, bitch, it's not because your fucking skin color, bitch. It's because you're fucking ugly. Don't put that shit on your fucking skin color, bitch, because there's too many bad brown bitches. And that done fucked a lot, okay? So don't even put that shit. Don't start with that race baiting shit. Because one thing for sure, two things for certain. There's a lot you have caused so much damage to the fucking black community. The way that you trash talk so much motherfucking legends. The way that you make up lies about fucking a lot about black celebrities. I never see you harass not one white person, bitch. All you ever do is talk shit. Bitch, who even said that Portia was ugly? Bitch, are you dumb? That's one of the baddest bitches ever. So don't ever say that, bitch. Just because you're insecure and people call you fucking ugly, bitch, don't put that on your skin color. You're just an ugly bitch. And I didn't say nothing about your nose, bitch. You just fucking ugly. Do something, bitch. Don't be second, bitch. You out here talking shit about original face. Bitch, my original face, the face that I had, the face that I have now, the face that I had in 2015, the face that I had in 2010, the bitch, any face that I ever had, bitch, you ain't fucking with it. You ain't fucking with it, bitch. Let me tell you something about you, bitch. Let me tell you something about you, bitch. Let me tell you something about me, and let me tell you something about you, bitch. Let me tell you something, right? When you a dancer, you know what you gotta look like? You gotta look good. You gotta be a bad bitch. That's why I was making thousands of dollars every single fucking night. Not sucking dick. I ain't had to show no pussy. I strip in New York. In New York, you can show no pussy.
Jesus. Wow.
Second, bitch,
Hold on.
you out here talking
I'm like, Jesus, there's
talking
more.
shit about original. You can't be fucking niggas or you're gonna get fucking fired. You can't even leave the club with niggas or you're gonna get fired. Niggas liked it how I looked. I was a pretty petite bitch. Nice titties, nice stomach, nice fucking ass. Pretty little young bitch. Bitch, let me tell you something. One thing about it, you can never make money off your looks. You could even strip even if you wanted to, bitch. You always been a chopped cheese hoe. Bitch, you always been chopped cheese, bitch. You always been a sherm bitch. And that's, you can never rely on how you.
Hold on, not chopped cheese. I love chopped cheese. I love me some chopped cheese. For those of y'all who don't know what chopped cheese is, it's literally almost like a Philly cheesesteak. It's like that's a thing that we have in New York, which is like you put it in a hero. You put like it looks like yeah, like the cheese, like the Philly cheesesteak, like the meat or whatever. I forget what it's like. You put like ground beef. You put that in there. You throw some cheese on top. Then they put like green peppers and like hot or like little hot peppers and stuff on top of it. And then I have them put like ketchup and mayo and stuff. And that's what chopped cheese. I'm like, not you gonna read chopped cheese. That's my shit. When I lived in Harlem, that's what I used to eat a lot of those. Then I had to lay off it a little bit because then I started noticing the weight was coming on. And then of course Chris had to hit the gym hard again. But I love chopped cheese. Not you trying to throw shade, but I do agree. She do look like a little Boosie though. Who might be going to jail for a couple of years over these recent charges he was coming out with. Sidebar, did y'all hear Maduro is at the same prison that Diddy was in, that Luigi Mangione is still in? I gagged when I heard that. Anyway, let's get back into what Messi had this Cardi, this mouth.
You look, bitch. You can never rely on how you look, bitch, for no fucking money, no fucking nothing, bitch. Bitch, you look like fucking little Boosie, bitch. Actually, little Boosie look better than fucking you, bitch. So stop it.
Right, I got the point. So, yeah, and a lot of people's getting mad at her in the comments, whatever she said. But let me read what the other comments were saying on the previous story with the whole Tasha K thing. One person said Tasha is obsessed with Cardi. Cardi, it's been years and she won't stop. Another person said, if I lost a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, I'd never mention or even insinuate about that person again. That's what I said. If I got a lawsuit with somebody, I'm not gonna go back and forth with them. But Tasha knows that if she mentions Cardi, it's going to get her views and things because of their past. And everybody knows, like, when it comes down to the controversies and the algorithms, of like, we all fighting to get a piece of that algorithm to get people to watch our stuff on social media. So I totally understand why Tasha doing what she's doing. But my thing is, I just need Cardi to stop taking that damn bait every time someone comes out and says something. I understand, like, I'm with you with defending your father because he ain't got nothing to do with all this. Stefon got enough money, whatever the case, he can handle his own mess. But I guess because she said that Cardi out here intimidating witnesses, she felt like I need to speak on it. But I'm like, I'm not addressing nobody on no social media platform about somebody making an accusation about me caught up in whatever the legal situation is. I'm gonna let my legal team handle it because that's what they should be doing. Same thing I've been saying about Nicki Minaj, but she be having her crash outs, and some people was jumping in the comments saying, "Oh, but y'all real performative because y'all quick to jump in and talk about Nicki and she on a coke rant whenever she comes out and says the stuff that she be saying." Which I guess people be saying that because Nicki be sniffing in the middle of them accusations. I ain't hearing Cardi sniff once. And if Cardi was doing drugs, she would openly admit it because they ain't no hair on her tongue. So people feel like, oh, but you were talking about Cardi, but y'all don't be having that same energy for Nicki. Well, y'all hate when they make the comparison. So we're going to move the goalpost because your fave gets treated one way and this girl who y'all don't like is getting treated another. Would you stop shifting shit? Let's be consistent in so many ways. Another person said, I would never mention her again if I was sued for $4 million in loss. Tasha is out of her rabbit ass mind. Then somebody said Tasha not ugly. Her spirit is, but her face isn't. So yeah, she said Tasha's so pretty, but she don't mention Cardi name at all. Well, yeah, I guess maybe that's part of the deal. Maybe she can't say nothing. So she talks around it. There's always ways you can get around talking about somebody without mentioning their name. We know how to throw a sub. Your faves be doing it all the time. Why we pundits can't do it? Another person, Tasha, can always acting like she's so connected and important. Another person is giving coke. What happened to Nosy Ho? Remember she used to say that about Nikki, and then Nikki went and took her ass to court. What's happened to Nosy Ho? Another person said Cardi is so tough online. Meanwhile, telling judges Tasha made you cry. Well, she had to do what she had to do to win that case, and it worked. It says so she ain't on a coke rant like y'all say about Nikki. See, now here we go with the comments. Then another person said, y'all mad at Tasha, but she right. Cardi talk entirely too much and then get mad when people call her out. Her talking to the victim, then posting a screenshot could be used against her and Stefon in court. Well, look, that's what the victim need. Well, look, if that's what she did, victim, use that against her in the court of law. Because you letting dickmatize you into doing the things that you want them to do. And it's like, girl, stay out of your man's shit. If you ain't got nothing to do with whatever it is that he got going on, then mind your business and stay out of it. Because I don't understand why, people like Cardi, whatever the case is, get caught up in all of this stuff. But there's more because I want to read the other stuff in the other neighborhood talk thing and then we can wrap this up. So one person said, y'all gave Cardi too many passes on how she handled black women. We're not gonna sit up here and weaponize the whole thing about black women. Well, if people was talking about her. First of all, here's the thing. I know people gonna probably get mad at this, but these white publications ain't talking about her the way these black publications be talking about her. So of course she's gonna go in on these other people. And we're gonna stop trying to use the thing that, oh well, black women are out here saying mess, and then they you want to weaponize the fact that she a black woman. Wiggins ain't no black woman, and he said many of things about Cardi. Remember, at one point they was friends. He's come out and said some things about Cardi, and Cardi got mad. Why y'all not coming to protect him? But you want to sit up here and weaponize it's black women. Fuck out of here with that. Somebody said Tasha K is ugly though, but continue 16 faces. Okay, that's funny. Another person said she been on Twitter crashing out all day and no coke rant allegations. Y'all so performative. Another person said, if I see one person agree with Taunta K, you ain't ish. And so yeah, everybody's saying she not ugly. Is Cardi on drugs? It's giving coke. Y'all don't know the difference between a coke rant and someone fed up. Cardi is tired of getting spoke on. I don't blame her. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like they think anytime somebody comes out and says some shit when they fed up about stuff, look, didn't R. Kelly say when a woman's fed up, ain't nothing you can do about it? That's probably what got his ass in jail. But look, she has a right to defend herself in these situations. But like I said, you've been doing it so much. At the end of the day, it's going to fall on deaf's ears. So, people have a right to defend themselves. But and everything ain't a drugged out rant. Because trust and believe, if there was drugs involved, you could definitely tell when people out here doing drugs in their own camera. Watching these recent interviews with Marco Rubio if you want to see a coke rant. So I say all this to say allegedly. What do you guys think of this story regarding Cardi B? Do you agree that it's like, yeah, stop taking all this stuff on social media? Everything don't need to be for our entertainment. If there's somebody out here that's making these accusations, take it to the court room. Have your lawyers here. I know it's a lot of money, but look, if you could be out here spending all these money in these goddamn Birkin bags that you don't really need, quiet as it's kept, then spend that money on your legal stuff too. I'm sure it's a lot cheaper than spending it on some one of a kind Birkin bag you want to be walking around once with, and then you're gonna put in a little case in your walk-in closet. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said, "Hi, oh, you're from the other day, the other Aiden. I remember." You said, "That's not me. That's the other Aiden. I remember you." He said, "Oh, I'm just starting, child. I've been doing this for over 3 hours." And you said, "Oh my God, you just starting. I finally caught a live. I swear, 100%. YouTube don't notify me of your lives." You may have to undo it and do it again. That's what's annoying because I hate when the notifications and stuff don't go out. So yeah, you might have to undo it and do it. Maybe the notifications will come back in. Anyway, happy Tuesday. Turkey having a ram. Like, happy Tuesday, by the way. Excuse me. Legally, Tasha K can't talk about Cardi B, but she's allowed to talk about anything she does or anybody she dates. Cardi has to understand that Tasha is allowed to talk about Stefon. He's not part of what's not allowed. And not only that, girl, you a public figure. If somebody you're in a relationship with gets involved in some mess, we got to talk about it. I understand how people talk. These celebrities do stupid shit, and then y'all get mad at us who are just putting, we being the messengers. How you mad at us? But you're not mad at the artists that's out here doing the mess. They create the situation, and then when we address it and we talk about it, it's our fault. We need to mind our business. We need to somebody had the unlitigated gall to tell me to get a life when I was talking about the Nicki Minaj thing. I'm like, first of all, suck my dick from the back. Number two, I get paid by Google to do the shit that I do on this channel. So, or they told me get a real job. That's what it's like, a real job. Number one, I do have a real job. And number two, I get paid to do what I'm doing here. So I'm supposed to give this money up because you don't like that I'm talking about your fave? As I said earlier, suck my dick from the back. And you said Cardi sounds like she wants all press to be, or it's like you could talk about me and it all has to be positive. And it's like, girl, if that's your overall attitude, you in the wrong business. You're supposed to be a New Yorker. You're an embarrassment to New York, meaning that where's your thick skin? Because this whole Libra, I'm sensitive shit, you need to nip that in the bud. Because if you can't really handle thick skin stuff or people talking about you in this business, this ain't the business for you. You talking about the Silence of the Lambs? Hey, you said, okay, I heard no lies from Cardi there. Everything she said 100% about the colorism. Yeah, I agree with that. That wasn't colorism. And look, someone who's dark skinned said this. So we're going to go with that because, a lot of people be up here like, you can't talk about it because you like it. You don't think us light skinned black folks be dealing with shit? Us mixed race black people or mixed race children don't have to deal with things from both sides or whatever? Please. We do. Um, He said, so yeah, I do agree with her on that because I was like, I wasn't a colorism. What you was trying to do is weaponize your blackness to get people riled up. And those people who aren't real deep thinkers or critical thinkers, of course, are going to jump into that. Everything is not a racist dog whistle. Because my thing is this, the type of thing when I go in and I cuss people out, I go after if you dark skinned, if you're a woman, if you're a child, if you're a trans, if you are a homosexual, if you anything, I go in, I look at the floor and I exploit it. I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm that petty. And that's kind of like how I was raised growing up around them trans girls and the butch queens in New York. It's like when you read, you gotta go in and let have. I'm not gonna sit up in here and give y'all like I'm not worrying about how sensitive you're gonna feel about, oh, you can't say these things. You're anti this or you're anti. I'm like, fuck out of here. Everybody gets it. I don't give a good goddamn. And you said chopped cheese hoe. I'm like, yes, you are. Because I'm like, I was like, you talking about chopped cheese. And I love chopped cheese. And like, whenever I would go to the deli or whatever case, oh, please, I always get me a chopped cheese and a hero. And that shit hits too. The only thing I be feeling about is like the older you get when you eat hot food, how it messes with your stomach. And I be feeling like, oh no, I probably shouldn't have ate that. Because then you got to sit in that toilet and that booty hole be hot. TDS, are you talking about Trump derangement syndrome? He said, LMAO, yes, I speak for my people. I know she's right because I also can't stand when black people only try to expose other black stars, but like she said, no white ones. That is true. And that is definitely something that they do. Because it's like, I don't be hearing Tasha K and them talk, though I feel like a lot of times with the Tasha K's and no shade, the Funky Dinevas, whatever the case is, they only focus on black celebrity news and hot topics. I talk about everybody. I talk about the white stuff. I talk about the black stuff. I'm not just only going to go in on one community because I don't think it's fair. I'm like, if people out here doing mess, we're going to talk about it, regardless of the race, the sexual orientation, or the gender. And that's the way it should be. But people do their show the way they do their show, and I do my show the way I do my show. All right, now, so let's get into some homosexual news. And let's talk about François Arnaud, who y'all know is from Heated Rivalry. He gave a shady response after Miley Cyrus basically said in a recent interview that, I think she was on the red carpet, that she is down to do the music for Heated Rivalry season 2. And I'm sitting there like, you want to know something? Because I think they don't even have like a theme song. It just comes on, it just says Heated Rivalry. We go right into the show. But sometimes the opening doesn't even pop up until like it could be like maybe 10 minutes into the show and it'll be like Heated Rivalry. And then we get right into the. I wish they would just keep it like that. We don't need a theme song for Heated Rivalry. But she said she down for it. But François threw a little shade. I'm here for it. So several celebrities have shared that they're obsessed with the steamy gay hockey romance show Heated Rivalry. Oh, speaking of which, damn, I forgot his name. The actor that plays Ilya, he's about to make his late night debut. I can't remember the date. Damn, I wish I had the information in front of me. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Connor Story, that's his name. I just saw him and the other kid do the one that plays his love interest on the show. They did a GQ interview, rubbing each other's legs and stuff. I'm like, is this y'all fucking in real life? I mean, even though I heard the other actor is straight in real life because his tea was spilled by one of the blogs. But I'm like, y'all, starting to think y'all might be hunching for real behind the scenes. But anyway, so Connor Story, I believe, is supposed to make his late night debut on Seth Meyers' show in a couple of days because I did see that story floating around today. But anyway, let's get back into this thing. So, as y'all know, that a lot of celebrities have come out and said that they love Heated Rivalry. We saw that Anderson Cooper was giggling at the New Year's Eve CNN thing because they started bringing up stuff about Heated Rivalry. Also, Brandy Carlisle was talking about who I think she has 2 shows coming up at the Garden next month because we have been advertising that. So a lot of straight women, a lot of celebrities, they're obsessed with the show. The show is getting a second season. I believe it also they've signed on for a season 3 as well. But an A-lister by the name of Miley Cyrus has professed her love for the show and revealed to Variety on the red carpet at the Palm Springs International Film Festival on Saturday that she was so into some music for the hit HBO show, HBO Max / Crave show's second season, though she's never seen the show. No, not and somebody gagged because I called her opportunist. And I'm like, that's what this is giving. This is giving opportunistic tease. If you've never seen the show's first season's already out. It's done. I think it's been pretty much the show's been done for about 2 weeks. It's 6 episodes. You can't just jump on the line and say, oh, I'll be down to do the music, and you ain't never seen the show. Now, I get it. There are situations where you do movies or whatever the case is, and you haven't seen the film is fully done, but you can write a song like for Avatar Fire and Ash. She has a song for that. What usually comes with that is you get reference points of what the movie is about, whatever the case is, and then you just give them maybe storyboards, reference points, whatever the case is, and you can write a song based around the information you were given by the people that worked on the film, which is what a lot of times these artists do. When it comes to this situation, it's like, no. If you're not somebody who's a fan of the show, if you haven't watched the show, then I don't want you putting your input in the music. You just want to jump on something because it's the trendy thing. And to me, I look at Miley as she always be trying to jump on a trend or a bandwagon or just comes across as opportunistic. And it doesn't feel authentic to me. So I don't want it. But regardless of the fact, let's get into the rest of the article. So she says that I have not watched yet, but this is on my to-do list now. It's all I've heard about. Every conversation I've had today has started with you. You have to watch it. When asked if she wanted to do music for the next season, a 33-year-old pop star said, oh, I'm so in. Book me. Get me booked. Well, you can't just book yourself on something just because it's been hyped up by the people who are in your circle, maybe the closeted homosexuals that are in the industry in music and people who are probably not homosexual that like the show are telling you about it. To me, it's like, I got to see the show first. I don't necessarily know if it might be my cup of tea. I'm not going to jump in on something if it's not necessarily my thing. Because a lot of times, don't Miley sit up here and always talk about authenticity and I can't do things because it doesn't feel authentic to me? Like when she would always talk about why she don't like touring or certain types of music she no longer wants to address. So you say all of that with that whole back and forth with the whole Hannah Montana versus Miley Cyrus thing. But when it comes to this, you all in for this show, it is being fake. It just comes across as inauthentic to me. So now, on the red carpet Sunday at the Critics' Choice Awards, Variety asked one of the show's stars, François Arnaud, about his thoughts on the pop star contributing music to the upcoming season, as she had not seen the show. He said, "I think we might get a little bit bigger budget for season 2, but I don't know if we'll get a Miley budget. I think if she sees the show, she might give us a discount." Because word on the curb was she was paid a shit ton of money to do the music for Avatar. Well, first of all, they can afford that over there. That is a $1 billion franchise. The first film made over $1 billion. The second film made over $2 billion. The third movie I revealed the other day, after 17 days, it made over $1 billion at the box office. So it's successful. But hold on, let me pull up because I do have that clip that I was just talking about with Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper giggling frivolously while they were talking about Heat of Rivalry. Okay, so then he also went on to say, Arnaud also asked about where he hopes the storyline for his character Scott and his boyfriend Kit, played by Robbie GK, goes in season 2, to which he said, "I would want them to face the continuing challenges of someone uber famous being with someone who didn't choose that for his life at all and is forced into it." The actor also poked fun at his co-star and said, "I think Kit for the second season has to stop working out. That's what I want to see. Like, he's a smoothie boy. Why does he have the best body out of all of us?" Because when the gays, sir, as somebody who is bisexual, and he has said this himself, the gays, we don't care. We could work in the place. I remember when I was in the best shape of my life. Even my supervisor was like, "Oh, you got to get me on your workout regimen." When I was working at Shake Shack, I remember there was women that was giving me compliments on my ass when I worked at AMC. I know, it's just like, because with us homosexuals, we can work in the craziest place in the world when it comes to like food spots or whatever the case is. We want to look good. So, yeah, he works in a smoothie place. He got to keep that body right and tight. Especially like in the summertime when you got to wear that apron and you wearing those short sleeve shirts, the body got to be bodying. So I'm with him on that. But yeah, so I have the clip of Anderson and Andy talking to Brandi Carlile about if lesbians care about Heat of Rivalry. I think they do. Didn't we hear a story or something or another about a lesbian who was talking about how they watch Heat of Rivalry and they want a show that gives that representation for the lesbians? I said, first of all, slow y'all roll. Let this show do what it need to do, and then hopefully it will open a Pandora's box of other shows. I mean, we already had to deal with a lot of queer-based shows getting canceled left and right, and we talked about that on the show in the past year, all the queer-centric shows that were getting canceled. But with Heat of Rivalry, sex sells, and the children are eating it up. I tell you, this show is doing for Gen Z and maybe some of Gen Alpha, because they probably sneak watching it like I did. Well, I didn't when Queer as Folk came out. I was old enough when Queer as Folk came out, so I was able to watch it and record it, because I was living with my parents at the time, and I recorded. My parents was not even with the title Queer as Folk. I was shocked they didn't delete it from the thing. So I was able to freely watch it. Maybe my parents was way more open and liberal than I thought. But anyway, so because I did record it on the cable box, and I sat and I watched it. What was I going to say? Oh, so I feel like Heat of Rivalry would do for this generation what Queer as Folk did for my generation. And hopefully it does. That it makes people feel comfortable enough in their skin to, live authentically. So we have that clip. We're going to go to that clip and play it. Hopefully we won't get demonetized because they'll be like, "Oh, it's courtesy of CNN." I'll just delete it out. Hold on. Let me change the speed. Then they can't say shit, hopefully. Please hold.
Lesbians care about Heated Rivalry, or is it just the strictly dick?
It's all I can think about.
Oh, really?
What do you think about? I can't even sleep at night without thinking about.
Do lesbians give a damn? Do lesbians give a damn?
Oh, I hit the wrong button. I put it too slow. Hold on. That video quality. I'm sitting there. I done fucked up the thing. I put it way too slow.
Lesbians care about heated rivalry, or is it just the strictly dickly?
It's all I
among
can
us?
think about.
Oh,
It's
really?
all I can think about. I can't
Really?
even sleep at night without thinking about.
Do lesbians give a damn? Do lesbians give a damn that Katy Perry and Gayle King went to space this year? Do
I
they?
mean,
It's like Anderson is ruining the moment. All Anderson cares about is the fact that you talking about the lesbians, care about a show that's all strictly dickly or whatever. You say that little thing, he just be giggling a mile a minute, and Andy over there trying to bring some of those stupid Watch What Happens games to the CNN thing. But anyway, so yeah, there's that. I pretty much said all I said about Miley Cyrus. Honestly, I mean, it might be cute or whatever if you can get her to do a theme song. Honestly, the show doesn't need it. I mean, the show is, yes, it's popular right now, but we don't need that show going a little too Hollywood because to me, the reason why people like the show because it feels authentic as is. So let Heated Rivalry be what it is. I feel like what needs to go into the show, give them a bigger budget, give them more episodes. Let's jump from 6 episodes to maybe 10 or 12 episodes. Or maybe y'all could do like this other show that's got a season 2 that's coming out this week, which would be The Pit with Noah Wiley. That had a 15 episode first season. If y'all could stretch out maybe like 6 to 10, maybe 12 episodes, that'd be good. We don't need some big A-lister to jump on and give us a theme song. What does that got to do with the show? I just don't think we need it. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Hey, hold on, wait a minute, okay, if they decide to do a soundtrack, it could work. But as far as but I guess you know what? Maybe I need to start looking at Hated Rivalry as it's a show that's shrouded in fantasy because they're gonna do this thing where they're gonna have him be the male version of like what is it like being a hockey like the hockey wives or the hockey girlfriends, whatever the case, and you have a guy that's in that situation. If they could show like what Kip is gonna go through as the boyfriend of a popular hockey player, and what that feels like with the tabloids on them at a mile a minute and him being an out sports person and how that works within the world of hockey. They're going to explore all these things in there. And of course, how the boyfriend is dealing with that and the attention. Will it affect his regular job working at a smoothie shop because they know who he is now? And could he still work there? Because, with your man or whatever, you can't be working no regular job. They're going to be looking at him like he crazy. But if that's what he loves doing or whatever case is, let him do that. But if it's going to cause more attention where it's like he can't do his job, then he might lose his job. So if they're going to play into all of that, I feel like that would be relatively interesting to see when the show comes back for season 2, if those are the avenues they're going to explore. I listened to the song with Naomi Campbell from her new album today. I liked it, but not enough to put myself through her new album. Her Dead Pets album will always be her pick. Oh, you saying you didn't listen to the whole album? I didn't particularly care for. I don't know. It's just like Miley don't just be. I feel like the idea of Miley is way more entertaining than the actual music. Like her music doesn't do it for me. We Can't Stop came on the other day. I skipped it immediately. I'm like, girl, this song is tired. Miley has never really done it for me as an artist. Miley and Her Dead Pets may be her only album that didn't jump on a trend bandwagon or opportunity. 1 hour and 32 minutes of experimental psychedelic sounds and druggy jabber. Was she inspired by Fish and Goose? Listen, I like some of the songs on Plastic Hearts. Her song played at the end of the movie. Yeah, I pretty much said, it said, yeah, you did look thick and solid the last I saw you. Well, I've always been pretty solid. Like I said, why does a smoothie barista have muscles? But that's what I said, because he's a homosexual. It's like, yeah, when you are a part of the community, you know, us men, we gotta maintain and keep the body right and tight. I know you right about the gay bodies. Like I wear an apron at my job and the customer stays asking where that waist at. Okay. I haven't seen the show, but I'm about to get on it. As for Miley, I don't think she should be putting herself to that job. That should be chosen by the loyal viewers. Exactly, because you're not even a watcher of the show. You're going based off of, oh, because it's the popular trending thing right now. So I gotta jump on a trend. Doesn't seem authentic. And that's why I'm like, no, we don't want it. Oh, just read that one. But child, we got our final topic to get into, and it's a messy one. Let's talk about Drag Race. So apparently, Tyra Sanchez, the disgraced Drag Race Season 2 winner, has now decided that she's threatening to sue RuPaul Michelle Visage and World of Wonder. She's saying they bullied her. I got the receipts. Because the other day I saw it, it was like, I was scrolling through my Facebook, saw the posts and everything coming up. I was like, oh no, I got a screenshot from the social media thing. And I saw a lot of people was talking about it. I was like, we got to turn this into a story. Funny enough, I don't know what came over me, but I started jumping back into old episodes of Drag Race and I started rewatching season 5 again. Because all of this, you know, the Alyssa Coco drama and Jay Jolie and Alaska and all of them are all on there. So, okay, so now let's get into the story regarding Mama Ru and this damn lawsuit. So, Tyra Sanchez, who won one of the earliest iterations of RuPaul's Drag Race, as I said, season 2, is reportedly planning on suing Michelle Visage, production company World of Wonder, and the head drag queen herself, RuPaul Andre Charles. Now, Tyra competed on season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race, beating out the likes of Raven and Jujubee, which some people said Raven it was robbed. You know, people still say that to this day, for that super sparkly crown. Which I think, you know what, Raven's as one at the end of the day. She does Ru's makeup, so she's winning. Despite winning, her career over the last few years has been super controversial. She's publicly beefed hard with many of her sisters and even seemed to mock the death of the late UK winner, the Vivian. In a Facebook post on Sunday, Tyra outlined the lawsuit against her former employers. She made the lawsuit and its details public in the spirit of transparency, saying the following, because I have them up here. Let me see if I could. I want to pull this up, but I keep getting. Okay, how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna bring up the shared screen and show y'all the receipts. And I had it pinned to my Facebook because that's where I saw it. So, okay, so I'm gonna read it, and it says the following. It says, before my words get twisted, before blogs attempt to paint me how they see fit, here's my full transparency regarding my lawsuit against RuPaul's Drag Race. Statement of claim. Plaintiff James Ross, professionally known as Tyra Sanchez, asserts claims against RuPaul Andre Charles, RuPaul. Child, we know who RuPaul is. Michelle Visage. Why are you writing it like that? And World of Wonder Productions, wow, for intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, false light, and tortious, or is it torturous? I don't know what she was getting at, but they said tortious interference with prospective economic advantage. For over a decade, defendants acting collectively and in concert have engaged in a pattern of conduct designed to discredit, disparage, and destroy Ross's professional reputation with reckless disregard for the truth and with the intent to incite hatred, harassment, and ostracization. First of all, I think they spell ostracization, whatever, with the entertainment industry and among the public. Number one, 2010, Michelle Visage campaign of discrediting Ross. In 2010, Ross hired Visage as a permanent judge of RuPaul's Drag Race. On her promotional tour for season 3, Visage repeatedly stated, I'm RuPaul's best friend, and if I were a judge on season 2, I would have fought really hard for Raven to be the winner. Well, knowing, I guess, the type of person that people saw that Tyra was, and this was probably behind the scenes, she was like, oh no, I would have voted for her to be the winner. I don't think she should have won the crown because of how you have been behaving and some of the things that you have said, some of the problematic things you have said. She has a right to her opinion. So I don't understand how an opinion caused them emotional distress, especially with all the bullying and things you come out and said after the Vivian died and Jiggly Caliente. Oh my God, if my dog don't shut the hell up, I hear him barking. They said that it's like, I would have and then they also said this deliberate narrative that Ross's season 2 victory was undeserved fueled years of harassment, blackballing, and reputational harm. In 2020, Visage privately acknowledged her wrongdoing via a direct Instagram message to Ross, but has never issued a public apology or correction. Well, I hope you saved it, because if you're trying to use this in the court of law and you saying that she privately acknowledged her wrongdoing but didn't do it publicly, I hope you got the receipts. Her failure to publicly retract her statements left the damaging narrative uncorrected. 2, 2018, false police report and public ridicule. In 2018, Wow filed a false police report accusing Ross of threatening to blow up DragCon. Well, child, you actually said that on social media. So how do you going to say file the false police report? They don't know what your ass is capable of. So any kind of threat you put out there, foreign or domestic, you don't think somebody's going to come out and be like, okay, we got to file papers against this crazy bitch. That's what you do legally. But I guess you don't understand the law, especially when this person was singing off key on the show, and then you was out in the street in a crazy ass wig and a bra and panties, acting like a public nuisance and gagged because your ass got arrested for it. I'm sure y'all can see them pictures and stuff online, because we talked about it on the show a couple of years ago. Saying this baseless report triggered an LAPD investigation and was disseminated by major media outlets, including Entertainment Weekly, TMZ, and Out Magazine. The false accusation branded Ross as dangerous, further inciting public ridicule, harassment, and threats of violence. 3, pattern of defamatory storylines. Wow has repeatedly used its programming to discredit Ross and incite hatred. All Stars Season 1, Episode 1, Raven was given the line, and that's a step up. Tyra Sanchez directly aimed to humiliate Ross. This sparked a new wave of online hate, harassment, and death threats. Well, that goes for every other queen. Like, when people say things on social media, you don't think that if people go and rewatch season 4 of Drag Race and Fifi up in there doing her mess, that people still don't be online dragging her over that shit that happened 10 some odd years ago? That's just the name of the game, unfortunately. People rewatch things and people go on social media and say stuff. The shows can't control that. So then, so they went on to say, All Stars Season 3, Episode 1, Wow rewarded Morgan McMichaels with airtime to deliver the line, "I look pretty good for a dead bitch," a targeted attack referencing her feud with Ross. This perpetuated the false narrative that Ross maliciously faked McMichaels' death. You posted something online that she was dead. And so we all know that, like the Housewives, now the big trendy thing to do to come into the room on Drag Race, you have an iconic, crazy, sassy line that you come up with. Her line, because of where we were at the time, Morgan McMichael's clever. "I look pretty good for a dead bitch." Who wouldn't run with that? But you want to sit up here and talk about that this was attacking you? You attacked first. And when people come back and retaliate, and then you want to play the victim. Fuck out of here with this. Tyra's a goddamn joke. Take your meds, bitch. All Stars Season 10, 2025. RuPaul crowned Raven as Snatch Game winner, once again reviving the false narrative that Ross's Season 2 win was illegitimate. And I think all that came in because you had said that mess about the Vivian and all this other stuff, and that was their way of dragging your ass again. They was clapping back. The incident generated millions of impressions online and reinvigorated harassment campaigns against Ross. Number 4, ongoing campaign of targeted humiliation. On January 8, 2025, RuPaul reposted a skit showing her slapping Ross across the face. This act, publicized to millions, was not satire but a calculated provocation intended to humiliate Ross and encourage renewed harassment. No, she was basically saying, like, this is my response to you getting up offline and shutting the fuck up. She didn't actually slap you. As a direct and foreseeable result of defendant's actions, Ross has suffered, I could not, severe reputational harm, preventing him from securing professional opportunities, constant harassment, threats, and ostracization from the entertainment industry and the Levitical, well, they didn't put the Q in there, but libidical plus community, emotional distress, trauma, and fear for personal safety. Ross avoids LGBT plus spaces and individuals due to reasonable relief that he will be subjected to mistreatment or violence, economic losses in the form of lost wages and diminished earning capacity. In conclusion, they said the evidence demonstrates a systematic and malicious campaign by RuPaul, Michelle Visage, and World of Wonder to discredit and destroy James Ross's career and livelihood. Their conduct constitutes defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and tortious interference with Ross's professional opportunities. Ross seeks affirmative relief, including compensatory and punitive damages, as well as declaratory relief, acknowledging the defendant's wrongful conduct. Child, this is a waste of goddamn time. You are not getting a dime from this mess. This sounds like an absolute joke. And at what point in these allegations are you going to take responsibility for your cause in this mess? Because nobody all of a sudden just woke up in the morning and just decided to do other things. These were people responding to the mess that you was putting out there on social media. You decided to wake up one morning and throw shade at the Vivian and Morgan McMichaels, and while everybody's out here mourning the death of Jiggly Caliente, you decided to step 10 toes down. There was even a post, I hope I didn't delete it. Let me check. Where yeah, there was a post. Let me see if I can send it to myself real quick and post it up. Yeah, I gotta do this real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can post this up on. I was like, I had to send it to myself on my phone really quick, and let me put it up here because Fifi O'Hara recently came out and said some stuff too, and said that Miss Ross has been out here perpetuating the same old mess with um like bullying her and stuff online too, saying Jeremy, formerly known as Fifi O'Hara, shared text messages from James Ross, Tyra Sanchez, still using Jiggly Caliente's passing to harass him. And so I got that receipt. Hold on a second. Because I saw that floating around on the blogs earlier too. So yeah, there's that one. And it said, ha 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 ha, mourn bitch, mourn. Phoenix, laugh emoji. Unalive yourself. In your pain, ah ha ha, that N-word dead. And this was on December 3rd, 2025 at 5:32 p.m. Ding dong, Jiggly's dead. Then another said, Phoenix, every day Jeremy and I text each other, made it, as we're thankful for another day. It warms my heart every time I see this text. No matter where we're at in the world, we make sure to check in every day. Just to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. He's 21 now, but he's still my little man. Can you text Jiggly and tell him you made it? Ooh, burn, I'm still here. So this bitch is out of here still with her harassment, saying all this other stuff. And I saw this popped up earlier today. So I'm sitting there like, Tyra, go play in traffic, please. Like, why are you sitting out here really thinking that you seriously need mental health with all of this? Hold on, because you know what? I was thinking I was going to delete it from Facebook. I literally just posted on my Facebook page. I'm gonna leave it up and see what the people gonna say in the comments. But let me see what they were saying, like, why is she suing? We don't need to go into that because we already read the whole thing. We already know why she's suing. So they also said at the end of the day, World of Wonder has been approached for comment. They haven't said anything. And then also, let me see, because I don't want to go through having to read all this mess again. Because what was the stuff they were saying? Okay, so they said the comments were interpreted as a threat. Oh, because to bring up all the other stuff, because I feel like I said all the other stuff. They said in the next portion, Tyra referenced the moment she tweeted, "Fair warning, do not attempt RuPaul's Drag Con on May 12, 2018. Don't say I didn't warn you." Now, if you say something like that, isn't that a threat? Wouldn't you want to file a report to make sure that people don't get hurt because you got fans showing up. Their lives could be at stake. You got queens showing up where they trying to make money. RuPaul's going to be there. There's also people that work in these venues whose lives you're putting at stake. So what are you talking about, Willis? The comments were interpreted as a threat of violence, and soon enough, everywhere from People to TMZ was covering it. Tyra was reported to the police and the FBI as a result, which allegedly incited ridicule, harassment, and threats of violence. Then, in a section headlined "Pattern of Defamatory Storylines," Tyra highlighted moments of which her name was referenced on RuPaul's Drag Race. We already talked about that. They said people in the comments question the validity of the alleged lawsuit. At the time of writing, there doesn't seem to be an official court filing. People also argue that the statement of claims seems to be missing the legal jargon and information you expect from such a document. Probably because she just posted it on social media for attention. I was posting you like literally, it looked like a series of, like she went on Twitter and just wrote like a long ass rant and wants this for attention and clout. And so until you actually get on social media and you actually post something where it's an actual legal violation against RuPaul, you can take all these vague little threats and shove it up your flat ass. So I can definitely keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. I saw they out in them didn't even talk about it, which was weird because Tyra mentioned out in the story. But they didn't talk about it. I saw the Tab and a bunch of other places, and I think the Advocate even talked about it. So yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of this messy story as it develops. But I want to hear from you all in the meantime. What do you think about this story of Tyra going on social media threatening that she's going to sue Michelle Visage, World of Wonder, and RuPaul over something that happened, I was going to say 16, 17 years ago. But then again, she was bringing up things that was happening over the years. I'm like, girl, if you was gonna meant to file a lawsuit and it was hurting your livelihood, like you ain't did drag in the month of Sundays. Now you all of a sudden you want to cry that your livelihood is messed up. Quite as it's kept, your drag wasn't all that good to begin with. And that's no shade. I'm just saying. So, I mean, you out here trying to be a reincarnation of Beyonce. First of all, nobody can do Beyonce better than Beyonce. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right. Also, Heated Rivalry is extremely Canadian and it definitely not, and Miley Cyrus isn't. Yeah, it's very Canadian, even down to the accents. Tyra built her career being hateful and talking shit about a lot of queens. So what does she expect? Exactly. If you're gonna dish it but can't take it. Well, we all know a lot of the barista. Well, not a barista. He makes smoothies. To be specific, he said telling people to unalive themselves and seeming happy Jiggly was dead was wrong. Not that psychopath. They're gonna laugh your ass out the courtroom. And you come in there with that, girl, please, if anything, that mean boosted the fame. Absolutely. Sure did. And it got a lot of us talking. Speaking of season 4, I've been seeing videos of Dita Ritz. I was wondering, well, I've also heard that Laganja is interested in coming back to All Stars. Maybe for season 12. So yeah, he calls Fifi Phoenix. Okay, because I was not sure. How in the hell did she? That's what I said. Because quiet as it's kept, I wanted. It was between Jujubee and Raven. If anything, I would have wanted Jujubee. I did not want Tyra to win. Tyra irritated my entire spirit on that show. I hated her on that damn show. She was being annoying. She was harassing the girls, and I'm like, how the fuck this bitch win? So I don't know if that was Rue's choice, but Rue, you were incorrect with that choice. And I'm sure she's regretting it now. I'd be interested to see who would possibly win this new season of Drag Race. I'm definitely curious about that. All right, y'all. So now we are officially at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Allen Unfiltered. I'll be back on tomorrow with some more mess. So if you have not, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell. So that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for hitting, jumping in the comments and saying the mess that y'all been saying and all that other stuff. Keep in with me and all that mess. So Love you all for watching. Love you all for listening and all that good stuff. And until next time, ciao, darlings.